while providing the Department of Homeland Security with short-term funding for 2 weeks while lawmakers negotiate potential changes to ICE operations, as Democrats demanded. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Tom Homan is in charge in Minnesota now, and he's already bringing about many of those changes. They are wanting to make sure that immigration enforcement is done safely and smartly and efficiently, and that's what you're going to get. It's going to be balanced. It's going to be a balanced approach.
But House Democrats are ramping up pressure to get rid of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Congressman Pete Aguilar is chair of the House Democratic Caucus.
The unifying force of members, though, has been these themes, right? Has been Kristi Noem is the head of this agency that is seemingly lawless and doesn't care about the First, Second, Fourth, or 10th Amendment.
As far as the funding bill just passed by the House, it now heads to the president's desk. President Trump says on former FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino's podcast that he thinks Republicans should push to nationalize elections amid ongoing unfounded claims of election fraud. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president was talking about the SAVE Act.
I don't think any rational person who's being honest with themselves would disagree with the idea of requiring citizens of this country to present an ID before casting a ballot in a federal election.
We don't know where she is. That from Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos in Arizona, who also says of today's show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy.
She didn't go willingly. This is an 84-year-old lady who, in the middle of the night, while she's asleep, is taken from her home.
The FBI says they're helping with the analytical and technical aspects of the investigation. Authorities are also asking for the public's help in the search for Nancy Guthrie, who was last seen when dropped off at her home on Saturday night. The offices of social media platform X have been raided in Paris as part of a preliminary investigation into the social media giant. BBC's Gurvinder Gill has more.
The Paris prosecutor's office says it's been conducting a search at the offices of Elon Musk's social media platform X in the French capital. An investigation of possible algorithm manipulation began last year. That probe has now been expanded following complaints about X's AI chatbot Grok to include whether X is complicit in the possession of pornographic images of children. X has previously denied wrongdoing.
Stocks on Wall Street are down. The Dow is down 357 points. The Nasdaq has dipped 478. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS Mornings on the go on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Another local retailer closing its doors. More on that coming up. But first, your KIRO News Radio traffic brought to you by Closets by Design. All is well across the map unless you're in Bothell, where we have our only collision. It's on the off-ramp from North 405 to State Route 522. It's blocking your right lane, and that is our only collision. And then, of course, here in Seattle, we have that Revive I-5 backup North 5 approaching the Ship Canal Bridge, which isn't bad. It's slowing your commute by maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Even our passes are wide open right now with no restrictions. It is foggy, however. Everett to Seattle will take you a half hour. Federal Way to Seattle, 20 minutes. Olympia to Tacoma, a half hour. This report brought to you by Closets by Design with custom storage solutions for closets, garages, home offices, and more. Go to closetsbydesign.com to see current specials or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to learn more.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Washington lawmakers introduced the long-awaited income tax on millionaires late Monday night. House Majority Leader Joe Fitzgibbon says that money would help pay for education, health care, and community safety.
We think this is a real opportunity for a win-win-win for our state.
The House and Senate bills would levy a 9.9% tax on income above $1 million. Republican Senate Leader John Braun.
Disappointed to see that. I think that goes absolutely in the wrong direction on affordability.
Governor Ferguson says on X that he can't support it in its current form. Ferguson says it's a good starting point, but to get to his support, the bill has to focus more on making Washington more affordable for taxpayers who make less. Outdoor retailer Eddie Bauer is expected to shut down every store in the U.S. and Canada as it readies a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing, according to the Business Insider. The company will keep its online manufacturing and international operations running. The 106-year-old Seattle brand has struggled for years, filing for bankruptcy in 2003 and again in 2009. Well, there's one Seahawks fan who has more than most riding on Sunday's big game. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey says 11 years ago, he bet his friends he wouldn't cut his hair until the team won a Super Bowl.
The worst thing about long hair down to Mike Hempler's waist?
Washing and conditioning.
But he wasn't about to welch on the bet he made 11 long years ago not to cut his hair until the Seahawks won a Super Bowl.
And I said it to enough people where I figured, you know what, I got to stay true to my word.
Mike hopes the Hawks win so he can get a clean cut. He's also having fun with it all, raising money for a local youth center in Hawaii.
If we can raise some money, regardless of the outcome, it'd be cool to just do it.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
And ticket prices are falling just ahead of Super Bowl 60. Here's CBS's Steve Kathan.
The get-in price for the Super Bowl is now $4,399, down 28% from just over $6,000 last Thursday, according to the ticket marketplace TickPick. With nearly double the amount of purchases coming from Massachusetts, home of the Patriots, compared to Washington State, where the Seattle Seahawks call home. The average ticket price last year at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans was just over $8,000, which was the cheapest ticket to the big game in the last 5 years. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
And now your KIRO News Radio weather. Get ready for a warm streak. Once these clouds break, we'll have sunshine this afternoon with a high near 60. Morning clouds, afternoon sun, and near 60 through Friday. We're at 51 and partly cloudy in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday to you. Jake Skorheim here, sitting alongside Spike O'Neill. Spike, welcome to the show.
On, buttons on. Yep, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, my friend.
A lot of stuff to get to. We might as well just jump right into it.
Do it.
We have some traffic stuff to discuss. We've got some income tax stuff to discuss. A lot of Seahawks stuff. We're only a few days away from the Super Bowl, which is a blast. Everybody's getting excited, and we have an opportunity today. Tell us about your buddy that we're going to talk to at 2 o'clock, live at 2, and this is a cool insight. Somebody who's like been front row for everything that the Seahawks have done for the past decades.
We're going to have Rod Marr on. He's a sports photographer, works for the Seahawks, with the Seahawks, and he has captured some of the most iconic moments in Seahawk history. And
so cool.
The eye of a sports photographer. You talk about these. When the Seahawks beat the Niners in the pivotal game down the stretch, not the blowout in the playoffs, but the pivotal game at Santa Clara's Levi Stadium.
Yeah.
Rod's got some pictures from that game, and it's like he has, a warning, or what's the right word for?
He's a psychic. He knows what's going to happen.
It's like he knows what. Yeah. He's got shots that you cannot believe this guy, but it comes from years of experience. Anyway, knowing where to position yourself. And he moves throughout the course of anyway, Rod's going to be on with us.
He must be a fit man, because that's a big field, and to be able to go to both sides.
And they lug gear, and they move. They're on the fly, and the photographs that he's caught over the years, we'll share some with you while we interview it. We want to talk to him a little bit about what it's like to not just be in the moment and anticipate. Can you enjoy a game while you're trying to be right where you need to be?
That's what I would wonder, is he watching the game, or is he just capturing it and he'll enjoy it later? Like I saw a story the other day that young people these days, because phones are everywhere and you can take a picture of everything, they don't experience events as they're happening like maybe people have in the past. They're experiencing an event, taking a picture or a video with the anticipation of enjoying it later by looking back on it.
Unbelievable.
So they're not having the experience. Now, Rod does it for all of our benefit, and so that's cool, and the Seahawks pay him probably good money to do it. Yeah, so he's doing a valuable service. Yes. Other people who are doing it in their own personal lives are kind of, I think they're stealing stealing a moment away.
Yes, they're cheating themselves, but
for Rod, he's sacrificing
the
enjoyment that we all get. So we get doubly, we get to experience it, and we get to go back and watch.
And he's down with the team in Santa Clara.
So fun, right? And also, how cool is it to get access to be the eye? I mean, he's the eye of the fans on the Seahawks for years.
We've heard, lately you've seen that Ken Griffey Jr. has taken up sports photography. Marshawn Lynch has taken up sports photography.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson has been a photographer for years.
What is it with all these guys? Is this like they just want to be close to the game still?
Maybe they can't get access. You can't get a pass.
We can't get that close. The best way is with a lens.
We'll ask Rod all these questions.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
very cool. All right, so it's gonna be 2:00 live. So tune in for that. If you have any questions for him, you can send it to us on the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line 888-973-5476. That'll be really interesting. All right, we got a lot of stuff to get into. I want to jump right into this. I want to highlight I thought a great interview John Curley did yesterday with King County Council member Claudia Balducci. She's also on the Sound Transit Board. I want to play you some clips because I think she highlights something in what she was saying with John. They were talking about this link connect up thing over the
the lake. The lake. East, the Eastern
is it called
link.
the East Link?
The Lake Link.
Lake Link. I forget the words, whatever it is. Yeah. It's the connection between this side and that side. And she's anticipating, she's saying, well, there's so many people that are going to be riding this thing. There's going to be 50,000 people a day riding this. I mean, those are high hopes, and, it remains to be seen, obviously, but we'll find out. And she also talks about, it's just going to smooth as silk. It's going to be amazing. I'm not faulting her desire for all these things to be true.
Right.
But I am interested to see if the outcome is as she's predicting, because it rarely is. If you look at these trains, they're rarely operating. You could just start with cost, and you could say, hey, if your ability to estimate at all people riding it,
the return on investment, does it merit this kind of money? Is it going to have the impact on the commute that we hope it will, that it was designed to have?
Here's something that she said, though. I want to play this cut for you and see if you had the same thought that I did. She was talking about getting people to ride this train because it's very expensive. It's billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And she talks about traffic, how that's actually kind of a useful thing for them who are trying to sell people on the idea of riding these trains that you've already paid for with your taxes. But she's trying to get you to get out of your car and get into these trains. And this is how she thinks it's going to happen.
You will be out of traffic. It will give, as has been said, it will give people an opportunity to make that trip without brake lights. And as you're driving by and see that train going and you're sitting in traffic, I think that'll be the marketing we need to get people who want to ride it.
That's the marketing. It's the people sitting in traffic. As I was sitting there thinking about that, my suspicion about the people who run systems, Sound Transit, she's on the Sound Transit Board. She's not WashDOT, but I would loop WashDOT in with this as well. Local politicians is kind of who I'm saying. My suspicion is that a lot of the decisions that they make about our roads are designed to push people into these very, very expensive modes of alternate transportation, like buses and trains and things that we're already paying a lot of money for. Because if you don't have people riding them, which they don't have in the levels that they want, it's tough to justify more of them in our state.
Okay, I follow you.
And
so when you're saying is it like she's propagandizing? Is she just marketing to the consumer?
No, I'm not saying propagandizing.
Is she marketing to the Seattle, saying how great it's going to be? Or is it you're talking about the threshold of pain they're trying to inflict on the regular commuter to get them out of their car?
The regular commuter in their car.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about.
And they want to make it as uncomfortable as possible for us so that is a more pleasant alternative.
I don't want to assume the worst about people.
No,
I'm a nice guy, but
sure, yeah,
what
you are.
It does, as I'm sitting there in traffic every day during this Revive I-5 project, we've talked about this many times. We have a story today from, who did this story? This was in... where's the 90-minute commute thing? Did you guys see that one? Oh, yeah. This was Future 42 posted this, and it was a story, I believe it was a KIRO 7 story that they posted. And they started looking at the traffic over time, how much people are sitting in traffic from Everett to Seattle.
Yeah, the southbound during the...
Which is my commute every single day.
Yes.
And it's not getting better. There are days, like today wasn't horrible. It was still...
I noticed that too.
It was still a good chunk of time that I was in traffic, but it's still way longer than I normally would have driven in traffic.
Sure.
Outside of the Revive I-5 project, but it wasn't one of those 2-hour days.
Was it one of the 50s, 52 minutes they bragged about last week in the Times? Remember that one? A 50% increase from the normal 35-minute commute from Linwood to Seattle.
This one was just about an hour.
Okay.
That was my commute today. Just about an hour.
Backing up their numbers that we poo-pooed last week.
What do you mean poo-pooed last week and backing up their numbers?
Well, last week, because we had, was it...
one day's an anomaly. Every day it's crazy town.
That's what I'm saying.
The KIRO 7 story is 90 minutes.
Right.
That's what people are driving.
Well, today I felt 50 minutes. I was feeling 52.
Where are you coming from?
Linwood.
52?
Or Edmonds.
52 from Edmonds.
Yeah, from Edmonds.
Is not great.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying it's great. But to your point, I've had an hour and 20 from that same commute. And you're right, today's a one-day maybe anomaly.
Yeah, show me this 3 weeks in a row.
That's what...
And I'll start to believe that what you're saying.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is I think politicians are not open to other ideas like moving the express lanes in both directions. Yeah. And I think her saying, well, you just sit there in traffic and you watch all these trains moving by. And boy, isn't that great
55 miles an hour.
Advertisements for us.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
Well,
don't you look over long to be doing 55 miles an hour?
Here's the other thing about the train. It's not practical for most people. Even in traffic, it's not practical. I have to drive to a train. If I want to ride a train, the closest one to me is in Linwood. So I have to drive to, where is that, Northgate? The Northgate thing?
No, Linwood is the northernmost.
Is it Northgate, Linwood?
No.
I'm not Northgate. I'm sorry. I'm not Northgate.
Hi, welcome to the area. How long have you been here?
What am I thinking of? What's the mall up in
Alderwood.
Alderwood
Mall.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Well, the big park and ride station is not really at Alderwood Mall. It's just adjacent to I-5, but that's the northernmost to this point because Everett's coming. Someday.
I think we'll be, by the time I'm retired, Everett will be online. Great. But even if Everett was online,
right,
you're still having to drive to a place. You're having to find parking.
Yeah.
Which is inadequate.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Northgate parking.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
You can't park there.
And forget about getting a parking spot in Linwood if you're not there by 7 in the morning.
If you're not there by 6.
Forget it.
You're done.
Forget it.
Also, if you're at work and you are a person like myself who has many young kids, one of those kids calls you and needs you from school and you have to make a hasty approach to get them.
Yeah, that's all the things.
The train doesn't work for people who are working and have kids often.
Yeah, I agree.
And so the idea that everybody's just going to get out of their car and suddenly start using this is pie in the sky.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
We don't need everybody. We need, 2%? I'm sorry. I can never say the number without laughing. The 2% goal.
That's what they're
for
hoping.
commuter ease of commuter traffic on the freeways. 2%.
I'm only highlighting these things because I really do want them to be open-minded. I did a post this morning on X about this where I just said, like, hey, I've requested some documents.
Have you made another daily video? Did you make a video this morning? Just shoot
I didn't
one?
have time to make a video today.
Okay.
I mean, traffic was a little bit bad, and I got in and I had stuff to do.
So I love you. It's a great series.
I will continue to.
I'm going to binge watch them on the weekends.
I will. Yeah, I'm sure. When I'm not stuck in traffic, I like to watch people stuck in traffic. No, but I do think it would be nice. I've requested. I did a request for documents from WashDOT.
Is that a FOIA?
It's not. I mean,
not quite a FOIA.
It's just
it's like they're hiding it. Yeah.
They're not hiding it.
Right.
Just like it's a public disclosure request.
Okay.
So I did a public disclosure request, and I just asked them. I said, "Hey, can you guys send me the documents as it relates to your decision-making process on keeping the northbound, the express lanes only going north.
Northbound, right, throughout the entirety of this
Because
year.
since the 1960s, they've acknowledged that, like, obviously it's a heavy flow of traffic from north to south. So in the mornings, they get a little bit of, they get a little taste of the express lanes. And then the afternoon, they relieve that traffic from the city as well.
Sure.
They've decided to not do them during Revive I-5. I just would like to know the inner talkings, because we had them on the show, and
we asked.
I really felt like their explanation wasn't really an explanation. It was kind of just a, we're doing this because we've decided to do this.
Well, their bedrock, immovable position was...
It's about safety.
It's about safety because heaven forbid somebody die because they can't get any... If there's no northern flow through, somebody could die. And no matter... No level of inconvenience... When you're talking about life and death at that moment, that's their worst case scenario moment.
Sure.
That's their immovable position.
Sure. And as somebody rightly pointed out, immediately after they said that, they texted and they say, how many horrible accidents are happening when people are going 5 miles an hour?
That's fair.
It's
fair
not
question.
a ton.
Fair question.
Unless it's one of those Austin Powers situations where somebody's in front of a thing from 30 feet away. No! As it's coming at you. Anyway, it's a good interview. You should listen to it. I posted this on my X page. You can go and listen to it there.
Okay.
Let's see. She says the trains will be packed. She's very excited.
Those trains are going to be packed. They are. We're projecting 50,000 riders a day, and I think we're going to hit it very early on because people love the train. They do. They love to ride it, and we get not just commuters, although we do get an awful lot of commuters. And by the way, those parking garages that we've built are going to fill up as well.
They are full.
We get a lot of people who want to go to the Mariners game, to the football games, on weekend travel. Seniors love to take the train so that they don't have to drive around downtown Seattle.
On how much money was spent, they talked about that as well, because it's very expensive. I mean, it's your money. It's not their money. It's coming out of your pocket.
You know, we projected a budget. We're coming in slightly over budget, given the fact that we've never put light rail on a floating bridge anywhere in the world before. I think it's pretty remarkable that we're within 3 or 2% of budget. And
5 years behind schedule.
There will be operations costs, as there are with buses. By the way, operations costs with buses go up over time.
I know, yep.
And we've created new transportation capacity. Try to create new transportation capacity across Lake Washington. It would have cost many billions of dollars to do that for cars as well. I mean, there's no way around it.
I would have rather had the many billions spent for cars, if I'm being completely honest. There's more people that would get use out of those. No, I'm not even laughing.
No, I hear you.
Absolutely. It would be far less cost. The maintenance would not be the same. Far more people would see a benefit. Traffic actually would move more freely. One of the things that John pointed out that I was unaware of, but because this is a new technology that they're bragging about, floating bridges move. Did you know that? Floating bridges
I
are
did
sitting
know
on...
that. They with
water
weather,
is not a solid.
Yeah, weather moves them. Yeah, you bet.
So those bridges are constantly moving, and the rails are not made out of jelly. And so what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to check those rails every single day to see that they're safe to use. That's going to take time.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
That's going to be a tremendous cost.
Fixed
as
rails,
opposed to the
right?
fixed rails, which don't require the daily maintenance of checking to make sure that they haven't sunk or whatever happens to a floating bridge. There's just a lot of problems, potential, with just that one small part of the system, and the entire system is very expensive. So we'll see what happens. All right, we've talked enough about trains. Let's move along. Okay.
Well, can we ask Laura? Because Laura, we were talking about this pre-show.
Oh, Laura, Laura, you have a fix?
Experienced this firsthand.
I drove to Linwood yesterday, and I was the opposite of traffic because I timed it appropriately.
Smart.
I'm not stupid.
Yep.
And I noticed something that I just wanted to run past you guys as a potential solution to your pain.
I love it.
HOV lane. What if the two of you started carpooling? Jake, you pick Spike up from Edmond Shoreline Way, and then you just coast in the HOV lane all the way into work. Would that
I'd have to
work?
ride with another person.
You'd have to come up with some kind of playlist that you're both into.
I'd have to wear pants.
You'd have to talk to each other.
I'd have to wear pants.
This isn't going to work.
Jake, you'd probably have to make an extra breakfast sandwich for Spike, or you get jealous.
Oh, now I'm really involved.
You would love my breakfast sandwiches.
That's
I realize I'm getting depressed because my sandwiches are getting bigger. You know what I had this morning on my sandwich?
No.
Okay, I used a Dave's, Dave's bread or whatever.
Dave's Killer Bread?
Dave's Killer Bread.
Sure.
A Dave's Killer Bread hamburger bun.
Oh, okay.
Which is a real tasty thing. That's the bread portion. 3 fried eggs.
Okay.
Sausage.
Link or patty?
Patty.
Okay, of course. Stupid question.
Made at home.
Yeah.
Cooked at home. Not the frozen stuff.
No, please.
Forget that. Cheese. White cheddar.
Ooh.
And a hash brown.
Oh, okay.
The hash brown is like, okay, because I'm getting really sick of this getting in traffic. I got to find little moments of joy.
So you've got 2 carbs.
Yes.
Going.
Yes, exactly. Which is why I have all this great energy right now.
You're a protein machine.
I'm a protein machine.
Yeah, look at that.
The HOV, I don't think is going to work for us. You and I head out at different times. I don't want to drop you off afterwards.
Here's the thing. It's going to benefit Jake if he comes in. Here's the thing. He's
then I'd have to get off the road to get you.
And you're only getting
So I was eyeing points where you could maybe get picked up, and I was thinking of Spike.
I'll be standing on the side of the freeway.
To the side of the freeway.
On the HOV side,
Stick your thumb up.
through moving traffic. And we'll get one of those the train cars use the mail hook.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We'll
So
get
I
one of
don't have
those
to
on the
stop.
side of your car and just pick me up in transit.
Yeah, didn't you say that you rode on a skateboard hanging onto the
Hang on
back
the back
of a car once?
That's what I got. Get my skateboard. I'll just hold on back. You won't have to slow down or feed me.
I could put on some Huey Lewis.
Just to play it really
Power of
loud so we
Love.
can hear it behind the car. Yeah.
Somehow I don't know if that's going to speed us up at all.
You know what? If I were to drive to your house,
sure,
then we could use the HOV lane
Done.
all the way into town.
Done.
That would only add about 50 minutes to my commute, but make yours better. So let's do that.
Okay, yeah.
Let's try that.
I'll make you a sandwich. Tell you what, you pick me up
That's
every day.
actually a good deal.
You drive me around, I'll make you a sandwich.
I love this
With
job.
hash browns or without?
With.
Okay.
Oof.
Good. All right, we got a lot more coming up. We got to almost nothing. So thank you for hanging out with us, even though we only talked about trains and our complaints and breakfast sandwiches, which is a bonus.
Never a bad idea.
We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
We are going to the Super Bowl.
In the home of the Seahawks, KIRO News Radio is there.
Can you believe it?
All week long, G. Scott broadcasts live from Radio Row in San Francisco during the G and Ursula Show. Weekdays 9 to noon.
It is a circus like you have never seen.
And Luke Ducey will be on the ground.
I am on the lookout for everything 12s.
From the only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO News Radio.
You know, it's frustrating. You work your tail off for 40 plus years. The government takes 30 or 40% in taxes. Then they turn right around and waste it. Americans are getting fed up, and that's why they're taking advantage of tax planning. Charlie Harger here. Tax planning could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. Learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire with free retirement tax savings analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 206-210-1350. Don't pay the government one more dime than you need to. You need to call the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Hey homeowners, are you stuck on the credit card treadmill and stressed because your consumer debt and monthly payments are too high? Well, Brock Hewitt here with a smart solution. Your home's equity in the Seattle Metro is probably larger than ever. It's like you're sitting on a stack of cash. Consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage to consolidate your high-balance credit cards, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and student loans, or get cash for a remodel. With interest rates finally coming down, consolidating your debt now may be the best decision you ever make. With excellent client reviews and trusted in Washington for over 25 years, Tila has competitive rates on refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgages too. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call Tila Mortgage today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
TilaMortgage.com.
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hey, let's throw a party this year for the big game.
Oh, great idea. But first, we should get a new TV. One of the top-rated brands, Samsung, LG, or Sony.
Okay, I'll start shopping on the internet and then head over to the Warehouse Club.
Well, but if that's all we do, we'll be sorry.
Why?
Because the best deals on those top-rated TVs are at video only, not online or at the club.
Video only?
Yep. We can save up to $500 if we shop smart.
Or we'll be sorry.
Why is K2 Vision RLE a permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers? How is it that you'll never develop a cataract after K2 Vision RLE? And how is RLE different from LASIK?
Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. We'll answer those questions and others when you join us for our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Andy, what are some of the other questions you hear?
Well, how long is the procedure and recovery? Or who's a good candidate for RLE?
And we'll also answer, how much does RLE cost? Is there financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE?
Find out how K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers.
And cataracts too.
Right, no more cataracts.
K2 Vision's free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Space will be limited, so register now at k2visionrle.com.
Join us at our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Sign up at k2visionrle.com.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. A 12-year-old boy from Okanagan County missing since last Thursday has been found safe. Nicky Balboni went missing near Omak on the night of January 29. We don't have many details about how or where he was found, but Omak police says he has been found safe. We expect to have more details later today. Still no suspect information released after 2 high school students were shot after school at a bus stop in South Seattle. Police say the shooter ran off before officers arrived on Friday. Here's parent Marcella Lyon.
We've been in this area. We're not going anywhere. And what we're seeing now, this violence has to stop.
The Youth Peace and Justice Foundation has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. More layoffs and big tech impacting Washington. T-Mobile and Zillow are the latest announced cuts. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
T-Mobile announced it's cutting almost 400 Washington-based employees. That includes roles from analysts to vice presidents. The Bellevue-based company tells GeekWire that changing business needs drove the decision and that it's still hiring in priority areas. Zillow is also cutting 200 jobs. The Seattle-based online real estate company tells the Seattle Times those layoffs are performance-based. Zillow is days away from earnings announcements where investors hope they will highlight their first full year of profitability since 2012. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
The NFL commissioner is denying a report that the Seahawks were fined $5 million over ownership issues. The Seattle Times reports Roger Goodall called the report not true. The team is also pushing back on talks of an imminent sale. The team vice chair says the Seahawks are not for sale right now, but eventually that will change. Paul Allen's trust requires the team to be sold with proceeds going to charity. Goodell says when that happens, that is Jody Allen's call. Seahawks fans have banded together to fly a giant 12 flag over the Bay Area this Super Bowl weekend. KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha spoke with the woman behind the fundraising effort.
Tansy Allen says her campaign to fly the 12's flag over San Francisco is complete.
It is going to be flying in enemy territory all weekend.
She says late last week, the pilot she had been working with called and said even with every flight opening booked for Super Bowl ads, he managed to secure a spot for a plan to stream the 12 flag behind a plane over San Francisco.
And now let's check out your KIRO News Radio traffic brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. In Bothell, northbound 405 at State Route 522, we still have a collision partially blocking the right lane on the off-ramp. It's mostly on the shoulder and State Patrol's on scene, but if you're taking that exit anytime soon, it might behoove you to move to that left lane. Here in Seattle, North 5, we've got about a mile thick backup approaching the Ship Canal Bridge. Plan on 7 minutes to clear this. And brief backups at the First Avenue South Bridge due to a bridge closure for marine traffic. Otherwise, we're all clear out there. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC February 6th, only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. And now your KIRO News Radio weather. Clouds continue to thin out this afternoon, but they're taking their time. We'll eventually have shots of sunshine with a high near 60. We will rinse and repeat this same forecast through Friday after morning clouds burn off. Mostly cloudy and 55 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. Not welcome to the show. You've been here for 34 minutes, as have we. All right, I saw this story. It's on mynorthwest.com. People can check it out there and read it. I want to know what your response to this was, Spike. You see the Washington State Senate has adopted a resolution honoring the Seattle Mariners and catcher Cal Raleigh
for
their historic 2025 season.
The headline is Olympia takes big dumper. Yes.
That's great.
Right?
That's not the headline, is it?
Should be. You want to get eyeballs, you want to get clicks.
People don't know this. This is a genuine compliment that I want to pay you. People don't know this about you. If they listen to the show, they know it.
Okay.
you have a really, really great way with like really quick little funny words.
Thank you.
You're very good, particularly when it comes to naming stupid businesses and headlines that will grab people's attention.
I've got a marketing degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you should do more of that. In fact, we post a bunch of stuff. You should post more stuff.
Okay, I will. That's a really good idea.
You're very funny.
You're very kind.
All right.
So the M's, with their season of 2025 season, Olympia felt the need, and I wholeheartedly agree with what they're saying.
I want to read you some of their resolution here about Cal Raleigh, and then I have just one little tiny addition that I'd like to suggest that I think he would care more about than this resolution.
Do you have the actual verb? Do they do the where in and all that?
I do have it, yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay, so the Senate resolution calls Cal Raleigh a symbol of perseverance and excellence. The measure also states that he was robbed by national baseball writers when they did not choose him as the American League most valuable player. That I totally agree with. Totally true. It says, be it resolved that the Washington State Senate congratulate the 2025 Seattle Mariners on winning the American League West Division and coming so close to finally reaching the World Series, and to congratulate Cal Raleigh on his historic Mariners Nation MVP season. And do you have the entire text? I don't have the entire text.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it?
The entirety of it?
Not the entire thing.
Should I read it as like the mayor of Munchkinville? Hey,
yes, you should.
Raleigh should be MVP. I wish I could do that. It'd be pretty good. I'll give you the final. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Washington State Senate congratulates the 2025 Mariners on winning the American League West Division and coming so close to finally reaching the World Series, and congratulate Cal Raleigh on his historic Mariner Nation MVP season. That's kind of the part you already read. I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
But there's a lot of whereases in this. There's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 12, 15, 18 whereases.
Phenomenal.
One thing about Olympia, you don't pay them by the word.
No.
Thank goodness.
No.
Because they can throw around a bunch of words.
They know how to add things to large documents, for sure.
They did say whereas former longtime Mariner catcher Dan Wilson, a member of every Mariner team to reach the playoffs, led the team to a division title in his first full season as a Mariner manager and finished third in voting for the 25 American League Manager of the Year award. And whereas Cal Raleigh, despite setting the MVP record for home runs by a catcher in a season, shattered Mickey Mantle's record for home runs by a switch hitter, setting a new Mariners record home runs, they list all the things that the Mariners accomplished in 2025.
Yeah, which is a lot.
And Raleigh getting smoked for the MVP, and they totally call out the East Coast media who don't know jack squaddles about baseball.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. If they could have, whereas the Yankees doth suck, I would have thrown that in there. That's just me.
And I would agree with that. Here's something I don't agree with. So this was on Tuesday?
This was on Tuesday.
Okay. Monday night, this very same Senate, they put forward Bill 6346, which is a millionaire's income tax. Here's what I think Cal would rather have than your empty words, Senate.
9.9 of
I think he'd rather have his own money, is my guess. If you had to offer Cal one of two things, we can give you a whereas, be it resolved,
that we
piece of paper that's worthless to you.
We want $2.5 million of Cal Raleigh's salary.
I want to read this to you. This is how much Cal. So if the new income tax is adopted and if they put it into play, number one, it would be just hugely damaging to our entire state. But, you and I will probably debate in about 20 minutes.
Sure.
But here's how much Cal Raleigh personally, a lot of people, like when Governor Ferguson talks about a millionaire's tax, he's saying it in such a nonchalant way, like, oh, millionaires, screw those guys. They have so much money and you don't have any money, and I want to take it right out of their pocket and put it into your pocket,
right.
Which again is wrong. He's trying to take somebody else's hard-earned money and give it to you. But here's the real dollars for Cal Raleigh. This wouldn't kick in until 2029, right? Did you see that in the income tax?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I haven't read the.
Okay, you should read it before we talk about it.
Okay, because Ferguson says I
recommend that for every story we do.
I'm kidding. It's a lot of print.
I know.
There's a lot of whereases in that as well.
Yes. So this would take place. It would take effect January 1st, 2029, if the bill passes. So this would be the 9.9% millionaire tax. And it would be on anything over $1 million. They'd be taxed at a rate of 9.9%, which is unconstitutional in our state. But whatever, they're going to try to pass it. So for Cal, who has a 6-year deal with the Mariners, here's how much he's going to make in 2029, $23 million. So if you cut out the $1 million for the first $1 million that he's not taxed on, the remaining $22 million, that year, Washington State.
No. How much, $23 million?
So it'd be 22 if you minus the $1 million that's untaxed.
Carry the 9. Okay. Gotcha.
I have the number. Do you want to verify it?
It's $2.2 million, right? Roughly.
2.17 million.
Yeah. 10% is not hard to move in decimal point.
In 2029, $2.17 million Cal's going to have to pay because Governor Ferguson says he's rich. In 2030...
Oh, by the way, there'll be incentives on Cal. That's his base salary. The tax would all taxable income, including bonuses.
Oh, it'll be much higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just his base salary.
Right.
Yeah, this does not count endorsements and any of the money he brings in.
Endorsements,
Yes.
plumbers, that talking plunger, again, genius.
Oh, my gosh, you're right. Think of all his toilet money. We're not even talking about toilet money.
Nope. Honey Bucket Cat, not even close.
In 2030, an additional $2.17 million they're going to take out of Cal's pocket of his big pants for his big dumper pants. In 2031, they're going to take out $2.07 million. Again, this is all just base salary. In those 3 years, it's going to be almost $7 million just in those 3 years. I think he'd rather have that money in his pocket.
I know he would. And if you're a Mariner fan, if you're a Mariner fan who endorses this tax because it doesn't affect you.
It does affect somebody you care deeply about and love, like Cal Raleigh.
It affects your ball clubs, your favorite ball club, whether it be the Seahawks or the Mariners or
100%.
Kraken or anybody else.
Yep.
Their ability to draw people to come to this state and play for these teams.
Yeah.
A lot of that goes into the fact that we don't have a state income tax.
Yep. How much does Sam Darnold make? What's he making per season right now? Isn't he like almost 30?
I think it's 35, 105 for 3. Is that what they signed him for?
Okay.
I mean, it's
that
my
make sense? Yeah.
shoddy memory, but I think it's probably pretty close.
Yeah, something close to that.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a $3.5 million a year guy in extra taxes that he doesn't get to have just because Bob Ferguson says, you're rich and we're not good with money, so we'd like to take your money. I mean, if you're a person who supports this tax because it's a nameless millionaire, I would like you to think of Sam Darnold's sweet bird-watching face or Cal Raleigh's big dumper.
If you're running around in a 12 jersey today or you've got a Darnold jersey on or you've got a Seahawk cap on or a flag hanging on your car
you're a JSN
or your
fan?
house, yes.
This takes money out of JSN's pocket and it puts it into Bob Ferguson's, not his pocket. He's not personally enriching himself.
No.
But he is putting it into the coffers of the state, who admits the reason Bob Ferguson says, we're going to get into this in just a few minutes, but the reason he says we need this thing is because Washington State is projected $12 to $16 billion budget shortfall. That's how he framed it when he gave that State of the State address. And he says, we need this new tax because we're $12 to $16 billion in debt now, or a budget shortfall, which means we're spending too much. Whose fault is that? It's not Cal Raleigh's fault. It's not Rodriguez's fault. It's not JSN's fault. It's not Darnold's fault.
Well, it's not Bob Ferguson's fault either.
Sure it is.
Sorry, I'm trying to say it with a straight face. I'll give you that they are poor stewards of our dollars, our tax dollars.
100%.
But also, I would also factor into the fact that they're so far under budget. It's also with the cost of living increases, cost of construction increases, loss of federal funding. There are a lot of factors that come into play here. I guarantee you a portion, probably a large portion, maybe even the majority of it, is because of fiscal irresponsibility.
Oh, it's okay. Yes.
A lot of it is due to the escalating cost of running a state, caring for more people, providing more services.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But that is also what they are. They ran to do that job. That is their job. Their job is to be fiscally responsible and not take other people's money.
I don't think it's asking too much. I'm with you.
If you think the millionaire's tax is just these faceless people, look at Cal Raleigh's face. Right? Just take any normal picture. He always kind of has kind of a stoic, almost sullen look. I mean, he smiles a lot, but I think he's
a happy guy.
He's a deep-thinking guy, you know?
You know he's working on something
Just imagine the sadness on that face, that poor face, as he has to write a check for an extra $2.2 million every season.
Or maybe even worse, put on a Yankee jersey because they won't charge him that money.
Or go somewhere that doesn't have an income tax for millionaires.
You know, if your team's going to suffer because they can't draw the best talent because they don't want to be taxed in the state of Washington for the millionaire tax, that affects you as a fan.
These guys only have a few years. Baseball's less so, but in football, you only have a few years to play.
Shortest playing career in all of pro sport.
I think the average is 3 years or less.
Yeah, 3-point-something years, yeah.
Very short.
Yep. Baseball,
you got guaranteed money, you got longer careers.
Yeah.
But it's still their money.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, we're going to talk more about that in just a little bit, so stick around for that. Can we talk a little bit about Savannah Guthrie's missing mom?
Yeah.
What the heck is going on? This is a wild story. And obviously people have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. Stick around.
Does my voice sound pretty good?
Better than I thought it would.
The John Curley Show.
I was really trying to work with my diaphragm.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I was screaming as everybody else was screaming, and all of a sudden the muscles in my neck tightened up and it shut off blood in my head. I thought I almost passed out. I was so close.
What if you died?
Well, I would have been paying no attention to me like that. Get up, Dad.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
Water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're...
worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but...
that's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchy's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member. You get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchy's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchy.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Well, the wet, chilly weather has certainly arrived. It's Mike Salk here, and if your attic and crawl space are well insulated, your home should be fine. Should feel cozy and warm without your furnace having to work overtime. But you'd be surprised to learn how many homes in Western Washington lack insulation in these spaces. It's why you call Crawl Pros. If you're feeling cold drafts or seeing that heating bill spike, now's a great time to learn if you got anything going on behind that crawl space or attic by calling Crawl Pros. They'll come out to your house just like they did to mine, do the corner-to-corner inspection. In my case, they found the problem, showed me the pictures, and then they got it all fixed. Now, if they do discover your home is under or improperly insulated, they'll show you all the utility rebates that are available to help you get the work done correctly. Like if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could get a rebate to cover up to 95% of the cost of the insulation job. If you're worried anything is going on in your crawl space or attic, including critters, water intrusion, mold, plumbing issues, anything, call Crawl Pros and schedule your free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey, let's throw a party this year for the big game.
Oh, great idea. But first, we should get a new TV. One of the top-rated brands. Samsung, LG, or Sony.
Okay, I'll start shopping on the internet and then head over to the warehouse club.
Well, but if that's all we do, we'll be sorry.
Why?
Because the best deals on those top-rated TVs are at video only, not online or at the club.
Video only?
Yep. We can save up to $500 if we shop smart.
Or we'll be sorry.
John Curley here with Closets by Design. Take advantage of up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months financing and free installation. Go to closetbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to schedule your free in-home design consultation today.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters. Tune in this weekend when we'll talk with local business owners about everything in and around your home. Join us on Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on KIRO News Radio or listen to the podcast on mynorthwest.com.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. There was a really strange mystery happening. It's a kind of a national story, although it's only about one person. It's Nancy Guthrie. Savannah, maybe not Guthrie, right? Because that's her, probably that's her married name.
It's Nancy Guthrie.
Is it Nancy
Savannah's
Guthrie?
mom, yeah.
Savannah Guthrie's mom, who was an older lady, went missing, and they're now looking for her, and they're investigating it as not just a lot of times when you're driving down the road, you see the signs that say like silver alert,
Sure,
be looking for a vehicle.
Yeah.
That's an older person who probably should not be out on their own and has maybe gotten their way into a vehicle or they're walking away somewhere. Savannah Guthrie's mom, they're investigating this as a crime.
A crime scene.
A crime scene.
Yeah.
And they're saying that she wouldn't have just gone off like this on her own. She was able to move around on her own somewhat. But
I've heard various interviews regarding this horrific topic, that she is as sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
This woman, it's not a case of someone. She
goes out and about. She goes to church. She can get places on her own.
It's not someone who wandered off. Plus, the law enforcement community, they estimate she went missing late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Her church group reported that she didn't go to church that Sunday, and it was immediately. They went to do a wellness check on her home, found signs of a forced entry at the home, why they believe it's a crime scene.
And they called 911 immediately.
Yeah.
They got local law enforcement involved. This is the local sheriff there in Pima County, where she lives, talking to CBS News.
Is it fair for me to characterize this as an abduction?
I believe she was abducted, yes. This is an 84-year-old lady who, in the middle of the night, while she's asleep, is taken from her home.
She is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there.
Sharp as a tack. Her mental faculties are there.
They say she's been missing, just like you said, since Sunday, since Sunday, yeah.
I mean, the clock is literally ticking. It's been more than 24 hours since she disappeared. Are you concerned that it may be too late before she is found?
Well, we don't want to go there. Look, we just want to find her.
How is the Guthrie family doing?
They just want their mom home.
This is interesting. I was reading this article about in USA Today. They talked to an abduction expert, somebody who actually goes and tries to find these people and get them back. And he talked about elderly people. He's like, they're really rare to abduct an elderly person.
Yeah.
And usually when an elderly person goes missing, it's because they've gone out on a walk.
Right.
They oftentimes have fallen somewhere, even in just like areas like a side of a road. They might fall into a ditch and they just can't get themselves upright, and they've injured themselves in some way. Dehydration sets in. These are all very dangerous things, but an abduction is a whole separate thing. And then you got to ask, like, why? She is the daughter of a very famous and I imagine wealthy person.
Yeah, exactly.
So why? Is it just a money thing?
That's why. Well, we have a mutual friend, and I reached out to this person who works in New York City, has worked at all the big networks, spent time at NBC, has worked with everybody from Michael Bloomberg to Howard Stern to you name the big name in New York. This person has worked in a news capacity.
Sure.
And my friend told me it's very, very common for all of these people of note, these notoriety. They all have to worry about this. They've all got security, private security firms for their parents,
sure,
for their children. Their kids go to school at private schools. They have armed security that drive their kids to school and back because they're famous people, and these abductions are far too common. And we don't hear about them because they settle these things without any kind of notoriety, with any kind of public notice.
And you don't want to draw too much attention to it if you can resolve the thing, because then you're going to invite other.
When this story broke, my friend said, the entirety of their community up there, of the professional media community in New York City, we're all thinking the exact same thing. We all prepare for this, to take whatever steps we can to help mitigate the chance and risk of this. But they all think, first thing they all think was, this is an abduction, someone seeking money, because Savannah's had a wonderful career.
This is a little clip. This is Savannah Guthrie and her mom, Nancy, talking on the Today Show in the recent past here.
My mom and I feel like we really click as friends, too. It's just amazing what she's brought to my life.
You know, we see celebrities and we think about how lucky they are, how wonderful their life must be. You never think that this is a specter that hangs over everybody in that level of notoriety. They've all got to worry about this kind of thing. You know, I've got to protect my family, my mom, my kids, my mom, dad.
So scary.
It's a horrific thing.
At 84 too, she's likely got medications that she needs to take. All these different things.
Got mobility issues.
She's not going to have access to. And then you would think that, like, you know, I mean, I'm trying to think back on like famous cases where people and families have been abducted because their parents were famous. Like you look back at like the Lindbergh baby situation, which is
you remember Patty Hearst?
Or Patty Hearst.
Remember Patty Hearst? I was a kid when Patty Hearst was abducted. William Randolph Hearst, the media mogul, his kid was abducted by a group of people, and
they made a series out of that. They've done movies out of it. I mean, really wild.
It's so our thoughts, our prayers, our hopes, you know, our sympathies with the Guthrie family today.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. Yeah, hopefully prayers that she's found soon. A lot more coming up. Stick around. Be right back.
There's only one Steve Rabel.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
He takes insight to another level. Shoot, the man played the game.
There's an old picture, two farmers sitting on a wooden fence. Each has a sock filled with cow manure, and they're swinging at each other to see who falls off the fence first. But that's what this felt like.
The only place you'll hear Steve Rabel and Dave Wyman call the Super Bowl. Sunday, kickoff at 3:30 on KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
DUI? Felony charge? Trust Bradley Johnson Lawyers and 1-800-DUI-OA. Over 30 years serving the Pacific Northwest and hundreds of five-star reviews. Every mistake has a solution at 1-800-DUI-OA.
1-800-DUI-OA!
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. Looking for a big selection of big trees? Visit Big Trees in Snohomish or BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees!
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS, Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Staples has hot deals and low prices on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends 4/18. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
5 days until Super Bowl 60. The only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The House has passed a bill to end the partial government shutdown, as CBS's Cammie McCormick reports.
The measure funds most of the government through September 30th while providing the Department of Homeland Security with short-term funding for 2 weeks while lawmakers negotiate potential changes to ICE operations, as Democrats demanded.
Of the demands that were made, the requests that were made, many of those are already being implemented.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
The roving patrols will be modified. There are a lot of things that I think were thoughtful suggestions that would have already been implemented by Mr. Homan and others who are in charge of all this. And so I think we can get to an agreement. I certainly hope that's true.
Also on Capitol Hill today, the brothers of Renee Good, who was shot and killed by ICE agents last month in Minneapolis, have just spoken at a forum on the recent incidents of violence involving federal agents. Her brother, Luke Anger.
In the last few weeks, our family took some consolation thinking that perhaps Nay's death would bring about change in our country. And it has not.
The forum was arranged by Senator Richard Blumenthal and Congressman Robert Garcia, both Democrats. President Trump's recent comments about nationalizing elections have triggered a lot of questions.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump was referring to a bill called the SAVE Act.
It provides very common sense measures for voting in our country, such as voter ID.
Leavitt also repeated the president's ongoing unfounded claims of election fraud.
He believes there has obviously been a lot of fraud and irregularities that have taken place in American elections.
On former FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino's podcast, Trump said Republicans should push to nationalize elections, but the Constitution gives that authority to state and local officials. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Today's show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, was taken from her Tucson home against her will over the weekend. And Pima County, Arizona Sheriff Chris Nanos also says they don't know where she is.
I've heard from leadership from all sorts of agencies, not just at the federal level, but across the state. Every one of them saying, Sheriff, you need anything, we're here.
A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation tells CBS News that a little bit of blood was found inside Guthrie's home and it is being tested. NFL security chief Kathy Lanier says there will be no ICE operations at the Super Bowl in Santa Clarita, California.
Our Department of Homeland Security, who's been our partner for more than 20 years now, is made up of more than 20 different departments. We'll send a variety of different agencies. That does not include ICE. There is not ICE deployed with us at the Super Bowl, and I don't believe there has been in the last several.
Stocks closed down on Wall Street. The Dow fell 167 points. NASDAQ was down 337 points. This is
Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, it's official. A big tax on millionaires has been proposed. Details coming up. But first here, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Tacoma, we have a medical emergency. Eastbound 16, mid-span of the Narrows Bridge, blocking your right lane. Here in Seattle, North 5, we've got about a mile bumper-to-bumper backup approaching the Ship Canal Bridge, where, of course, 2 left lanes remain blocked for Revive I-5. Plan on about 8 minutes to make your way through this, but once you do, it's wide open. Prior to this, I'm seeing building volumes at the I-90 interchange in the downtown. Most of this traffic is stacking up in the left lane, approaching the express lane's entrance. And South 5 slowly filling in now from about 85th in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle still less than 15 minutes. Outside, we're looking great. That's your KIRO News Radio traffic.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
And good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. State Democratic leaders are proposing a 9.9% tax on earnings above $1 million. Senate Majority Leader Jamie Pedersen says this is a chance to fix what he calls the state's broken tax system.
Make it more sustainable, to enable us to invest in education and healthcare, and to help businesses and low-income families all at the same time.
Republican House Leader Drew Stokesbury spoke out against the tax this morning.
Majority Democrats are working behind the scenes with Washington's biggest employers to figure out a way to pass an income tax that is going to devastate Washington's economy.
The Democrats will be working with Governor Ferguson to come up with a final version of the bill. The legislature wants to raise fees on commercial trucking companies to improve safety and training. House Bill 2410 would raise the commercial vehicle safety enforcement fee from $16 to $32. Jason McFadden owns Ludke Pacific Trucking.
As a trucking company owner, I think it's a small fee to put on something where it has not been raised since 2007 for highway safety. The trucking industry is lacking safety and education, and this is the most crucial piece of keeping our economy flowing and getting necessities delivered.
There have been several accidents involving big rigs that have damaged bridges and overpasses in our state over the last year. Memorials are growing, and at least one community nonprofit has offered a reward for information on whoever shot and killed 2 high school students last Friday in Seattle's Rainier Beach area. Another group, Fathers and Sons Together, says the city has to invest in change. Here's Kathy Wilmore.
We deserve safe and thriving schools, safe streets and transportation, clean and cared for neighborhoods, and meaningful investments in prevention.
Police say a suspect ran away before officers arrived. They have not released any information on that person. Washington Supreme Court Justice Barbara Madsen is retiring. Madsen was the first woman elected to the state's highest court back in 1992. She served as Chief Justice from 2010 to 2017 and was reelected 5 times. Her retirement is effective April 3rd. Governor Bob Ferguson will appoint her replacement. That appointee will then need to run in November's election to keep the seat. Governor Ferguson already appointed Colleen Melody last month to replace Justice Marie Yu, and 2 more justices are leaving the court this year at the end of their terms. State senators honored Cal Raleigh and the State Mariners yesterday.
Be it resolved that the Washington State Senate congratulate the 2025 Seattle Mariners on winning the American League West Division and coming so close to finally reaching the World Series, and congratulate Cal Raleigh on its historic Mariners Nation MVP season.
Senator Mark Schessler is still upset Cal lost the American League MVP award to Aaron Judge.
Cal was robbed. That East Coast media doesn't know anything.
Cal wasn't there, but manager Dan Wilson, broadcaster Rick Riz, and Mariners president Jerry DiPoto were on hand when the Senate unanimously approved the resolution honoring the team. And your KIRO News Radio weather, we're waiting for those clouds to clear out. We have partly sunny skies in the forecast this afternoon and a high near 60 as we enter a nice warming trend this week. 55 and cloudy in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go.
Can I just say thank you, by the way, to you, my friend?
To me?
Yeah.
For
well,
what?
Because as Nate Connors plays that state representative saying, Cal was robbed. Mm-hmm. And all I can hear is you going, and we're going to do it again. Yeehaw!
Oh, his taxes?
Tax.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Boy.
You're welcome. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Listen, you're kissing him with one side of the mouth while you're
grabbing his wallet. You reach around.
Grabbing around. Good luck reaching around that big dumper and getting his wallet. That's what they're trying to do. At least take him to dinner first. Good Lord. That poor guy. $2 million a year. That's what they're going to try to get out of this guy. Just in his base salary if this millionaire's tax goes through, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But before we get into that, I just saw the story right before we got on the air here, and Laura grabbed this audio real fast. This is from TMZ. They're reporting, it's kind of like a live breaking thing, on an update on Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mom, who is missing. TMZ is reporting that they have gotten their hands on a possible ransom note. Now, we do say possible, or you might say alleged. You don't know if this is real. This could be just somebody who's trying to mess with everyone and become part of the story. But I'm going to let TMZ tell us a little bit about this. It's just this is just one of those crazy, it's turning into one of those. There are certain stories like this every once in a while that do pop up, like Balloon Boy. Do you remember Balloon Boy, where
Sure,
everybody
of
was
course.
just,
It captures the imagination of the entire nation. Absolutely.
everybody goes, how is this
Yeah.
possible that this
Yeah.
could happen? In the Balloon Boy case, it wasn't happening as it was being told to us. Obviously, it was a scam.
Right.
And with this Nancy case, I'm not suggesting at all this is a scam. I'm just saying that everybody sees this and sees that lovely old lady, and I imagine she lived in a pretty good community in Arizona, and probably, there's a very good chance, based on the conversation you had, Spike, with somebody who works with these people, it's not outside the realm of possibility that she maybe even had some sort of a security.
Sure, yeah. It's not uncommon that the families of those who are very well-to-do and public figures,
or she lives,
they're targets.
Or she lives in, certainly targets.
Yeah.
But maybe she lives in a very secure area. I don't know. How is it possible that she could be abducted, which is what they're investigating this as right now? But this is TMZ saying that they have received a alleged ransom note. Listen to this.
We got something in our email that looks like it's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Specific request
and they're very
for certain amounts of money,
very specific.
Bitcoin.
And also, they say at the bottom there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify that
it's us.
We know what we're talking about here.
So we've contacted the sheriff's department, and we want to get them this letter. We had a little trouble getting through to the right person, but the person we spoke with is now forwarding this to somebody in the detective bureau. So if my phone rings, I may have to stop and.
What's interesting is, there was just a news conference that just ended with the sheriff, and he was asked about, we're going to do this segment in a few minutes, but he was asked about a ransom note, and he just said, we're following all leads.
Yeah, and this it's again, we don't know
if this is legit, right.
if it's authentic or not, but they're, when you read it, they're acting as if, only we would know these things, and we're serious, and there's a dollar demand and an or else in there.
What do you think about this? Does it have any ring of truth to you? I mean, certainly the specifics about what she might have been wearing at the time.
Well, yeah, when they give details about the crime scene that only the police department would know, that weren't made public, that's how you know that's them letting them know that this is authentic. We're serious about what we're saying. Pima County Sheriff's Department says, we are taking every tip seriously and investigating to the fullest. Although they also acknowledge that these type of tips in air quotes are very, very common. How many people call in with with this thing? It's hard to put this into words and emotions because it's heartbreaking, and you just pray that. I almost hope that it is what this ransom note says it is, that that there might be a possible solution to this.
The tricky part is, though, that they're so good at identifying. There's so many different ways that they can trace people down. There's DNA that you might have accidentally
and they said
on a note.
There is DNA at the scene, they said.
And if there's obviously this is digital, but there's people who are really good at finding
digital footprints. Yes, forensics. Yes,
and so for them to be sending these things around again, I'm sure that they're taking precautions. But the mind of a person who would, if it is true that she was abducted, it's quite possible that she was not abducted. We don't know that.
We don't know.
But if she was abducted, as they do suggest she could have been, the type of a person who would go in and try to commit a crime like that and to get away with it and try to collect some reward, I would venture to guess that the percentage of success rates for collecting rewards is probably pretty low.
I would think, yeah.
I mean, it's an incredibly risky thing to attempt to do.
Yeah.
Because you're putting yourself out there saying, this is us.
So many ways you can blow it, and not to be, and they're asking for, I don't understand this. I don't understand the world of crypto.
Yeah.
But they did say they verified that the address listed in the ransom is a valid cryptocurrency account.
Yeah.
That's not traceable? How is that?
That would be an avenue where I would go, okay, to me, who's not I have some cryptocurrency. I understand how it works a little bit, but I don't know that it's untraceable to the right people.
Right.
Are there not somebody, there's nobody in the FBI who could dig into a crypto account and find where that goes? I don't know.
Yeah. Doesn't it move around so fast that it's easy to launder? I mean, I guess if it's all digital, that's one of the things I've heard about why it's often used in the criminal world.
It's not why I'm using it, just so people know. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you hear all these stories about these big crypto barons, if you will, who use money for drug sales, money laundering, all these things, because they can move it around so fast in so many locations, and you can lose a trail.
It's how else would you? I mean, it's kind of. I would imagine it's kind of the only way you could collect a ransom in today's day and age.
Right, marked bills. They figured that out a long time ago, right?
Yeah, what are you going to do? You can't physically collect the money anywhere.
Not anymore.
You can't have it sent somewhere so it gets sent somewhere. I mean, they can follow all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Crypto was kind of the only way, I would think, if it indeed is untraceable.
And you feel again. You feel for the.
Sounds like it might be.
You feel for the family. When these you want, if somebody knows someone, of course, please call in a tip. But these families have to go through these false flags. So these tipsters who have no credibility, this flood of everything. This family's just on a
It just obfuscates what's really happening.
Right,
for the law enforcement, they're trying to get to the bottom. It's like it's an impossible thing for them. Yeah. Do you remember the movie? We'll get into some other stuff here in a second. It is kidnappings, like abductions and kidnappings are really so scary, but also really interesting.
Intriguing, absolutely.
There's a couple that it made me think of. One, did you remember the movie with Mel Gibson, Ransom? Do you remember that, the Ron Howard movie?
Sure, yeah.
Where he has his child is abducted. It's for money. They're trying to get money. It's back in the day where this is like pre-internet stuff or early internet, so it wasn't quite the same thing. It was easier for them to try to physically collect money from something, and he turns it right back around on them. And he's like, "This is money, not for your."
This
ransom.
is not the ransom. This is a bounty.
This is a bounty on your head. It's just a really great thriller, like a really great movie. But then the other one that it made me think of, do you know the story? It's a local abduction story of the Weyerhaeuser heir that was abducted back in I think it was the 1930s.
No.
So the Weyerhaeuser, can you look this up real fast, Laura? I'm gonna get the kid's name wrong. Weyerhaeuser abduction. This is fascinating. I hope the audience doesn't mind that we're doing this on the fly. Yeah, George Weyerhaeuser was kidnapped back in 1935 in Tacoma. This is a Weyerhaeuser family, phenomenally wealthy. And they demanded $200,000. And I think about $200,000 back in 1935. So he was held hostage for a while and eventually escaped and then was found. But while he was being held hostage, his abductors, he got to know them. And he's a child. I think he was eight years old at the time. I could be wrong about that age. 9 years old. 9 years old when he was released. 9 years old when he was abducted.
Yeah.
He ends up escaping. They find him. He's then brought back to safety. But this was like a huge national story. And then one of his abductors ends up serving a very long time in prison and writes to little George Weyerhaeuser apologizing. It's in a book. You can read about it. It's a really great book. My wife was telling me all about it. She read it. She was trying to get me to read the book, and I should read it now. But there's a really great book about this. What's the name of this book? I'm going to look it up here real fast. Weyerhaeuser book. Or I don't know. Laura, can you look up the name of this Weyerhaeuser book, this George Weyerhaeuser abduction story? The guy ends up, one of his abductors is so guilt-ridden over what he did to this kid. What's it called?
Is it called Deep in the Woods?
Deep in the Woods. He ends up writing letters to him from prison, apologizing and saying he's so sorry and he hope you have a good life. Not in like a creepy way, but like his abductors they were very young. They were like 19, 20, his abductors. Wow. So George Weyerhaeuser, who grows up to run Weyerhaeuser, because it's his family business, he hires this guy when he gets out of prison.
For what?
To work for the warehouse. To work in the lumber industry. He's given him a second chance. I mean, it's this amazing story. So that's like a good version where like these abductions can end up like, having a positive ending. I don't know what's going to happen in the, Guthrie case, but it's just a crazy thing to think of an abduction happening these days. Also, there's Ring cameras. How is that even possible?
That you don't have information about these folks?
Well,
and how does the mom of somebody very famous not have, like you said, there's probably security. I mean, this.
At the very least, she lives in a secure neighborhood.
Would hope, yeah.
Right? In Pima County, Arizona, wherever she lives.
Yeah, it's outside of Tucson. Yeah.
So she lives outside of Tucson. There's how many cameras if you had to pass every camera in your neighborhood before they got to your house?
Wow. How
many cameras are they passing before they get to just to drop off a box at your house?
Dozens, if not hundreds.
25, 30
easily.
Same.
And this is a neighborhood full of probably seniors in the neighborhood. Probably. A lot of it's Arizona.
Yeah, probably.
Safe to say.
But still, and then maybe they're not as quick to adopt the technology. I don't know, but But Ring cameras are ubiquitous; they're everywhere.
Yeah,
or
they are.
the Blink cameras, Amazon's version. I mean, they're just so. I would think that they would have to have some information on this.
Hopefully, the law enforcement's got following up every lead, and they'll figure this out and bring this woman home.
Golly, what a crazy story! So crazy. All right. Well, we'll keep you up to date as we know more about that. Again, they're saying that they are aware of this note and that they are investigating whether or not it's a legitimate note or if it's just somebody who's trying to mess with people, which is possible.
Sick, though.
Yeah, there are sick people out there who try crazy things. All right. Let's move along to something else that's crazy. An income tax in our state. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Bob Ferguson. All right, here's the deal with Bob Ferguson. He's the governor of our state. You ever heard of him? He is saying that this tax, as has now been submitted Monday night for discussions and to be possibly, debated and move forward at some point. He's saying, I can't support this bill because it doesn't do certain things that I think it needs to do, which is, namely, he wants it to
put the money back in the pockets of the working man, right? Is that it's a
some
nutshell?
money, he says.
Some money, okay.
Some money.
This
He
bill-
doesn't specify how much.
He has no problem with the unconstitutionality of this proposed tax.
Correct.
He's got a problem with where the money taken from the top earners
He
would
just wants
go.
to see some language in there that says where it's going to go. Now, here's what he said about it. This is a statement back from early January, but it applies to this.
The key is it can't just be, I'm just going to repeat this, it can't just be $3.5 billion that goes in the general fund. I don't support that. I want to be clear. Don't support that. It's got to be targeted, that we know where these dollars are going and they're helping out Washingtonians. In other words, it's a tax break for thousands and thousands of Washingtonians as a result of doing the millionaire's tax. So that's the balance we need to seek. And I think most Washingtonians, and I think even most millionaires will support that.
So he's saying basically he can't support this bill as it stands right now. But do you know what I think that is?
What?
Acting! Brilliant! I think he's acting.
You think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know.
Head of the Democrats, Jamie Peterson.
Yeah.
He and Bob Ferguson are tight.
Okay.
And the idea that Bob Ferguson has no idea what he's going to be suggesting in his bill and finds it so appalling that he's saying, hold on now.
I got to see changes. I can't support
I got to
this
see
in its
changes.
current state.
Because then that makes us feel, here's what I think is happening, aside from the acting. Brilliant! I think what he's doing is he's positioning himself as the protector of our finances instead of the guy who's going to sign this bill into law, which would then take more of your money.
Okay.
He did the same thing last year when he passed that massive tax. Remember the one that was like $9 billion in extra taxes?
Yeah, they cut 7, asked for 9 more. Yeah.
He says, guys, I hate to do this. I just hate to do this.
Well, he ran,
and
said,
I don't
I'm not
want
going
to
do it.
He ran on saying, I'm not going to
do that.
And then he says, boy.
Wish there was another way.
I wish there was another way. But
Yeah.
guys, because this and that, yada, yada, then we got to do it. I'm so sad about doing it. And now with this new income tax, which voters and by law in 2024, what was it? What was the bill in 2024, the initiative? Was it 2111? The bill would override initiative 2111, which was passed by bipartisan legislative support in 2024, saying that you cannot have an income tax. It has to be evenly distributed. You cannot tax individuals differently just because they're rich. He's now saying like, oh, guys, I don't want to do this. This is bad. But I think it's just to set up that they will do it. You maybe change one tiny little bit of language and suddenly he calls that a big win. Then he tries to sell that to the public and say like, isn't this great, guys?
My fear of this, well, I know you're opposed to any of this taxation of the well-to-do because it will drive a lot of them out of the city, out of the state.
And it's not just well-to-do. That's my problem with it.
That's all. Because I'm all for, we've had this discussion numerous times.
Yeah.
I think that those corporations and the incredibly wealthy, incredibly successful.
Cal Raleigh, Sam Darnold,
Bill Gates, those guys. Bill Gates could hit a curveball. He'd be in the Hall of Fame, I swear to you. I understand that they pay more than anybody else, but also it's proven that they pay less than historically the top earners have paid. They're paying historically low rates of taxation. Here's my thing. I think that $1 million number way too low. I think it's way too low.
What would be a
I think
number
the
that would be
9.9.
better for
I think the 9.9% is way too high. I mean, because you're talking about people where it won't make it a business with $1 million in receipts every year.
Sure,
that's not a big business these days. It's really
not. There's a bunch of expenses that go into that.
Exactly.
With the owners taking home,
right? That's
small percentage of that.
Exactly. So I mean, if I had a $10 million number, that you're hitting businesses that are huge, and you give them a bunch of different caveats, exemptions, with a way to mitigate those costs. Because that's how the system used to work. You had tax rates up in the 60, 70%. We've had this discussion. I know you have a different view. We have these businesses that have these incredibly high tax rates, which encourages them to invest in new product, new warehouses, new machinery, and paying their employees a better living wage. There's ways to have that system fine-tuned and tweaked so that the states aren't operating in deficits. The government isn't operating in deficits so much.
Can we take a quick break and come back to this?
Sure.
I have a strong statement.
Yeah. I'd like to hear it.
Against that.
Sure, I'd love to hear it.
But a friendly one.
Great.
It's a friendly,
I love about this show.
A friendly, strong statement.
Sure.
Of why I think that is nuts.
I got pudding between my ears, but you like pudding. I get it.
I love pudding.
Yes.
As long as it's lactose free. I love lactose free pudding. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
We are going to the Super Bowl! And the home of the Seahawks, KIRO News Radio is there.
Can you believe it?
All week long, G. Scott broadcasts live from Radio Row in San Francisco during the G and Ursula Show. Weekdays 9 to noon.
It is a circus like you have never seen.
And Luke Ducey will be on the ground.
I am on the lookout for everything 12s.
From the only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, KIRO News Radio.
You know, it's frustrating. You work your tail off for 40 plus years. The government takes 30 or 40% in taxes. Then they turn right around and waste it. Americans are getting fed up, and that's why they're taking advantage of tax planning. Charlie Harger here. Tax planning could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. Learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire with free retirement tax savings analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 206-210-1350. Don't pay the government one more dime than you need to. You need to call the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Visit Lake Washington Windows and Doors at the home shows to get 20% off, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Or go to lakewashingtonwindows.com.
What a good move I made. Let me tell you a quick story. I've done a whole bunch of races and a bunch of other stuff like that, and my left hip started bothering me about 5 years ago. And I go to the doctor, and he's like, you need a hip replacement. I was like, I'm 60. Yeah, we're going to ask you to wait a little while because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to go into the grave at the same time. I said, what do you do about all this pain? Well, you could, aspirin, and you could continue to do this and that and, sleep with a pillow between your legs. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Then I was talking to Bob Stelton over there at the sports department. So he went to Dr. Mark Wagner, and I think he had his hip done as well. So I go in there. I said to Dr. Wagner, can you fix my hip? Takes a look at the MRI. Yes. So I got the stem cell procedure. I'm telling you something. This is the best. If you've been thinking about, surgery for your knee, your wrist, your shoulder, or hip, no. Check out Dr. Mark Wagner and go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Hewitt here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got 3 options. Number 1, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
John Curley here. We value things that last. Local businesses, relationships, community. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs. They've been serving Washington families for decades, combining taxes and investments under one roof. Most firms just do one or the other, but not both. That's why Madrona offers the Madrona Analysis, a simple review of income, taxes, and investments in one plan. Call 833-673-7373 for your complimentary Madrona Analysis. Madrona Financial and CPAs, local, trusted, and here to put the whole picture together.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. The House has now passed a spending bill to end the partial government shutdown, sending it to the president's desk. Measure reopens most of the government and temporarily funds Homeland Security as Democrats push for limits on immigration enforcement. Washington U.S. Senator Patty Murray.
We cannot fund DHS if we do not rein in DHS. That is a clear, hard line. Law enforcement cannot be lawless.
And now the negotiations begin. Democrats want to end roving patrols and prohibit immigration agents from wearing masks, among other demands. Ticket prices are falling just ahead of Super Bowl 60. CBS's Steve Kathan has the updates.
The get-in price for the Super Bowl is now $4,399, down 28% from just over $6,000 last Thursday, according to the ticket marketplace TickPick. With nearly double the amount of purchases coming from Massachusetts, home of the Patriots, compared to Washington State, where the Seattle Seahawks call home. The average ticket price last year at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans was just over $8,000, which was the cheapest ticket to the big game in the last 5 years. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is pushing back on a report involving the Seahawks. He denies a Wall Street Journal report claiming the team was fined $5 million over its ownership structure. Speaking to reporters, Goodell commended the Hawks ownership team led by Jody Allen.
Jody's doing a great job of managing the team. Bert's here. They've done a great job. They're in the Super Bowl.
Goodell notes the team must be sold at some point as directed by the Paul Allen Trust. Now to the closing bell reports. Eddie Bauer is expected to shut down every store in the U.S. and Canada as it prepares to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Company will keep its online manufacturing and international operations running, it says. The 106-year-old Seattle brand has struggled for years. It filed for bankruptcy twice before, in 2003 and again in 2009. On Wall Street today, the Dow lost 166, NASDAQ off 337, S&P also down 59 points. Now to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. This report brought to you by Simply Seattle. Overall, it is an easy commute across the region this afternoon, just about everywhere except for Everett. North 5, just past the Snohomish River. We have a new car fire. It's blocking your right lane, and you're backed up to the river. This just occurred, so this backup will probably start to grow here. Here in Seattle, of course, we have our Revive I-5 backup. North 5, about a mile backup approaching the Ship Canal Bridge. About 6 minutes to make it through this. South 5, just a little crowding through the U District, nothing heavy. And on the east side, southbound 405, starting to get thick through Factoria. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC, February 6th only at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And now to your forecast. Going to see some increasing clouds today, but we are staying on the warmer side all week. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about this new millionaire's tax that Governor Ferguson is now pretending that he doesn't want. It's quite clear that he wants it because he talked about wanting it. And then,
well, he talked about needing it. The state needing it is what they're saying, you know.
He says he needs it, and then they propose it. They put, what was the Senate bill? They just got this in Monday night, right? The bill was Senate Bill 6346 and the House Bill 2724. Filed late Monday. He's now saying, guys, wait a minute. Hold on. You need to be very specific in here about where the money goes, so he can't support these bills as they're currently written. But we all know what that really is. Acting! Brilliant! Acting!
So you said
Yeah, give me your statement again, and then I can respond to it.
My thoughts on taxation is that the very successful in this country, the top earners in this country, used to pay a lot more of their taxes, their income and taxes to this country.
Are you talking about percentage of their income?
Percentage of their income. The tax rate was higher historically. I think Ronald Reagan lowered the tax rate on the upper echelon of taxpayers. Yeah, and because trickle-down economics has proved to work so well. Leaving that money in the pockets of the well-to-do would then funnel its way down, trickle its way down to the working man, which has been disproven time and time again.
I disagree with that statement. But when you have more money, what do you do with that money?
I buy things.
Is that trickling down to anyone? Is that being spent somewhere else?
Sure, it is. Yeah.
So it does. So trickle down does work.
Oh no, it doesn't work. It's proven that the wage gap, the pay gap, the wealth gap has just widened since that policies were put into place in the 80s under Ronald Reagan. The disparity is the word I'm looking for between the well-to-do and those of us who haven't received a cost of living increase, while wages have stayed relatively flat.
So you're saying
CEO income has risen about 300% since then.
You're saying that rich people are sucking up money that you would otherwise be getting.
That they aren't reinvesting that money into their companies or their employees. They're stocking that money away offshore or wherever it may be.
Well, that's not true. We see that they're reinvesting.
Absolutely true. Not to the rates they used to when it was either reinvest or be taxed.
Boy, there's a lot to unpack in that statement. But so your contention is that taxing people over what amount did you say? You were saying
10 million.
10 million would be the
amount? So
amount?
There really are. Maybe it's 100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's 1% of those making over $100 million.
We have another story today. I want to connect two stories because I do have a thought on this. Mm-hmm. We have another story today about Washington State is considering. Washington lawmakers have a new proposal for a cigarette tax. They want to raise the cigarette tax by 66%.
Yeah, baby.
So in Washington currently, right now, the total average price of cigarettes, I don't smoke, so this was news to me, but apparently cigarettes are very expensive.
Very
expensive. They're $12.13 a pack. Is that possible?
Sure it is.
$12? How does anybody afford to smoke?
Because they're delicious and they're wonderful.
They're pretty
addictive. They're worth it.
Yeah.
No, because they are a burden on the state's healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
They're bad for people.
So they're trying to. So the tax right now, as it stands, 2025, Washington State currently taxes. Let's see here. The state excise tax on cigarettes is $3.03 a pack. Total state taxes per pack in Washington State are about $3.77 when you add everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to increase that by 66%. which basically adds about $2 onto that current tax. And then that would put Washington cigarettes up at, let's see, if you added $2, $12.37, by my math, there'd be $14.37. So we'd have the second most expensive cigarettes in the country, behind New York. Now, why would they tax cigarettes so highly?
Because they want people to stop smoking.
Why do they want people to stop smoking?
Because it's the only product in our history where if you use it right, it will kill you.
So they want to discourage people from smoking.
Yes.
By taxing it.
Sure.
How is that different than what they're doing to businesses? When you tax a business, isn't that discouraging them from doing something? Isn't a tax just a discouragement?
No.
It's not. Explain how it's a positive.
How taxation
leads to more bounty for all. Explain that. It's because it's literally taking away from somebody.
Okay. Are you serious with this question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Isn't a tax? Do we agree that a tax is to keep somebody from doing something? You just said it was like a sin tax on cigarettes.
A sin tax is not. I wouldn't describe all taxes as sin taxes.
I understand that there
to
are
say
some...
that taxing business, like to put it in the same arena as taxing liquor or cigarettes, a voluntary habit, and you can say it's voluntary to start a business. That's an argument you could make. But you're in business to make money. You don't buy smoke cigarettes to make money.
My contention is that taxes, by their nature, discourage behavior. Right? When something becomes more expensive, do you buy more or less of it in your life, your personal life?
You probably buy less of it. But what doesn't discourage behavior, it's the cost of doing business. Is that a fair thing to say? If you want to run a business in a state that requires you to have, say, roads to drive your business on, all the things.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, then there should be some taxation of. That's how the government is funded and provides services for the entirety of the community.
But what I'm saying is, you're not dealing with you're not dealing with a group of people who are stuck here. They can take their business elsewhere.
They could, but they lose this access to this market, which is a valuable thing.
Well, it's only valuable until a certain point, until you've broken the camel's back.
No, I'm with you. Of course, there's a tipping point, sure.
And so rich people who are pretty mobile and have ways of hiding their money legally will do that.
So is that the problem? That people can hide their money?
No.
No, it's not the problem?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, because it's their money. They made their money.
Sure.
When you make your money, do you like to keep your money or do you like to give more of it away?
I like to keep my money, sure.
So how is that any different than a rich person? They figured out how to do more of it than you. It's just no different. Doesn't make them a better person.
It does make them a better person.
No, it certainly doesn't. I know you, and I know a lot of rich people, and you are much happier than a lot of rich people that I know.
I think I probably got a better soul than a lot of super rich people.
Probably.
I've never been on a plane to a small island in the Caribbean. Never in my life.
I highly recommend it.
Sorry, folks. We're kidding.
No, I do. No, I'm not kidding. I do highly recommend it. But my question is, rich people have made their money.
Yeah.
You have made your money, right? It's all relative. Yeah. So why should you be able to keep more of your money and they shouldn't be able to keep more of their money? And the state is saying, I think this rich person has too much of this thing that they've worked for. We are bad at spending our money. Let's take more of their money and let's fix all of our problems with their money. I fundamentally don't think that works.
No, I respect your position on it. You've laid it out very eloquently numerous times to me, and I get it.
They're trying to discourage people from smoking because they've recognized that when things cost more, people do it less.
Well, why?
That's true.
So, but here's the thing: smoking costs you and me, even though we don't smoke. It costs us.
That's a total side thing that's also true.
Well,
but what I'm saying is
which is why they tax cigarettes to begin with.
The behavior, though, is what they're trying to discourage. Yes.
Sure. Yes, because that behavior costs everybody in the state of Washington who has to help pay for health care for smokers.
I get it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the cigarettes themselves, the $14, almost $15 a pack that they're going to charge people. Do you think more people will smoke or less people will smoke?
Less. I think less people will smoke. They can't afford to smoke.
So they're discouraging the behavior. That applies to businesses as well. I just saw a Seattle Times article the other day. It was an editorial by the Seattle Times editorial board. I sent it to you this morning.
I don't read things from you.
Well, what they said was...
I've tried to read everything.
No, that's totally fine. What they said was, right now is a really bad time for this new tax that they want to place on businesses of people who are making over $125,000 because they say that will discourage, even Seattle Times recognizes, that will discourage people from creating those new jobs for Washington people to work and to make money, and then that money trickles down into local communities.
And I'm in total agreement with that perspective, totally, because I've said I think that threshold is far too low.
But that number also, if it applies for the goose, then it applies for the gander. You're literally killing the golden goose with these rich people. They don't have to stay here, and when you take their money, they leave. Like Jeff Bezos, they leave. It would be far better for them to make a very healthy business environment where people say, hey, you know what's really great? Investing money in our state. California is doing something similar, and everybody's moving to Arizona, Texas, and Florida. The founders of Google just relocated to, I think it was Florida. And where do you think they're going to spend their billions and billions of dollars and buy their $20 million mansions and all that stuff that really benefits local communities? They're not going to do it in California anymore because they're trying to take their money. And they're doing the exact same thing in Washington, and I think it just fundamentally doesn't work. I don't think they're bad people. I just think they have bad ideas.
And here's funny, because I think the real problem in this state is if Democrats are allowed to get away with this, because they don't need any Republican cooperation.
They say as much.
No, exactly.
Jamie Peterson says, I don't need any Republicans.
I think you should need a threshold of bipartisan cooperation. I think for all laws. I think the ability to just do what you want without any consideration for opposing points of view is very unhealthy for our society.
We have filibusters, so it forces people to at least have those conversations.
But it locks down. It locks down the government. It completely stops anything from happening. It logjams everything. I have no problem with
filibusters.
I have no problem with filibusters either, because the minority point of view should be heard.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of saying the same thing but different ways.
Yeah.
I think you should need 60 votes or whatever, a super majority in these things.
Sure.
You should be required to get some bipartisan cooperation and some concessions and at least entertaining other points of view.
Well, I appreciate your point of view, Spike.
Likewise, brother.
I really do. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
Smoke.
Be right back.
Cigarette.
Oh, thank you.
What's my voice sound? Pretty good?
Better than I thought it would.
The John Curley Show.
I was really trying to work with my diaphragm.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I was screaming as everybody else was screaming, and all of a sudden the muscles in my neck tightened up and it shut off blood in my head. I thought I almost passed out. I was so close.
What if you died?
Well, I would have been paying no attention to me, like, get up, Dad.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
There is one real estate agent who's been helping KIRO listeners longer than anyone else, and that's Wes Jones with sellwithwes.com. Wes, you've helped KIRO listeners in good markets and more difficult ones. What do you think has been the secret to your success?
Thanks, Brandy. Experience has taught us that to outperform the market, we needed to do things differently from the status quo, that we needed to do more. Our exclusive system covers innovative marketing locally and internationally, leading to more eyeballs on your home, better listing prep for better showings, negotiation strategies that eliminate pesky buyer contingencies, and generate stronger offers. Through our exclusive client programs, our sellers enjoy an extraordinary marketing experience utilizing techniques a traditional agent cannot offer.
So if you want to sell your home faster, at a higher price, and with fewer contingencies, if you want more, visit sellwithwes.com, sellwithwes.com, a better way to sell your home.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Visit Lake Washington Windows and Doors at the home shows to get 20% off, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Or go to lakewashingtonwindows.com.
This is Lynn. She's always been active, maybe a little too active back in the day.
When I was 19 years old and immortal, I stripped out all my ligament and I had to have 6 knee surgeries, and that's on my right knee. And then my left knee finally gave out and had a torn meniscus.
Years of pain followed until she saw Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm 4 months out and I have no pain in my knees, and I have had knee pain my whole life. I have no concept of what it was like without pain. It's a miracle. I'm totally thrilled.
No pain, no limits.
Dr. Wagner gave me the green light to ski again this year. I'm like, that's incredible. So I'm just so excited.
After years of surgeries and setbacks, Lynn finally got her freedom back.
I think he saved my legs, so saved my knees, and gave me at least another 10, 15 years to do what I want to do.
If joint pain is holding you back, find out what stem cell therapy could do for you with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory is a little different. We actually reach out to the small business world, to Joel Taylor and Sean O'Donnell from Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants. Sean, when Joel brought this to you, the idea of why don't we take this First Mark Challenge victory, what was your thought?
My goal was to save some money and to simplify our operations. We've got 6 locations now, and along with that comes complications. And when things get complicated, things that are important get forgotten. First Mark was able to simplify that and also save us money.
Not only have they saved us money, they helped us identify some blind spots in our policies. Their service team has been phenomenal, unparalleled in my experience, given us a lot more solutions with better coverage, and just made too much sense.
First Mark's just made it easy for us.
So if you're a business owner and your insurance is in need of simplifying and streamlining and eliminate the stress, do what Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants did. Reach out to First Mark Insurance. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance, your teammate in the business world too. Going to work for you.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Liver from New Nordic protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon or in stores at CVS, Wegmans, and now GNC.
For nearly 50 years, over 90,000 homeowners have trusted Home Comfort Alliance, including me. John Curley here. Save up to $2,000 on new heating and cooling systems. Free consultation at homecomfortalliance.com. For comfort, call the comfort people. homecomfortalliance.com.
All right, thank you guys so much for texting and getting in on the conversation. Tons of great texts today at the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line, 888-973-5476. We will pluck a bunch of these up and read them to you at the end of the next hour, so keep them coming in. This is a really bizarre story. We're going to play you some audio in just a second from a podcast that Melinda Gates was on. Now, you may have heard in the last few days that Bill Gates' name came up in a very uncomfortable and awkward way in some of the document dumps they've been doing from Epstein's emails. Can you give a quick little summation of how he was mentioned? And this is all alleged. I have to say as I understand this was Epstein's, almost like his, it's almost like he was writing these as notes to himself. Right? Is that how it works?
It's my understanding of it, but there's been so much information released in the last week.
And Bill Gates is saying these things are not true. They don't happen. So
he's complete denial of all this.
We're not saying that these happened. Just we're covering ourselves from lawsuits here. Mm-hmm. We're not saying these things happen, but this is the news story that's going around right now.
Yeah,
there has been allegations about Bill Gates connected to. Was it Russian prostitutes?
That's the story I read, yeah. And when the resulting which would be sexually transmitted disease by Mr. Gates, who there are different passages of him seeking medication.
Medicines.
Yeah.
To then also offer surreptitiously. These are all allegations, by the way. These are not,
including offering them to his then wife.
But
because he was a dalliance, is that the right word?
But these would have been like secret meds. Let me play you this clip.
Flintstone chewable tetracycline, apparently.
Oh, don't bring Flintstones into this.
Sorry.
I used to love Flintstones.
Sorry.
I love those Flintstones. Little like chalky tasting kids' vitamins.
The best.
Oh, so good.
Chock down a whole bottle.
They don't recommend that. No. They don't recommend that. No, they're usually just one a day. This is Melinda Gates. She's talking on this podcast, and this topic comes up. Let's play this audio. Listen to this.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of
although I'm asking you
that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth, right? And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life.
I got to say, that audio is kind of amazing. I mean, that is a wild thing to have to respond to.
Yeah.
To be on a I mean, she must have known that topic was going to come up.
Well, yeah, and to agree to go on and do that podcast at this juncture of history, where this story has, been released. I want to say the word spread. It seems kind of appropriate this juncture. What a strong woman! What an amazing woman, Melinda French Gates is. Can you to have to end your marriage?
They were married for 27 years, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an entire life. They had the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They had all these philanthropic things that they were doing.
She still, to this day, is one of the most successful entrepreneurs, philanthropists is what we're looking for in American history.
But to think about all of that, it didn't all fall apart because they're still able to give a lot of money and do a lot of good.
Yeah.
But to have your entire legacy is now going to be tainted with this horrible part of the story.
Yeah, and again, these are allegations that the Gates, Bill Gates, completely, fully denies.
Yes, but that's another segment we should start doing. But crazy. That's just wild. All right, we got a lot more coming up. This is gonna be really fun. We're going to talk to the official photographer for the Seattle Seahawks.
Rod Marr. Yeah.
Rod Marr next. He's going to join us live. If you guys have any questions for him, hit us up on the text line. And we're going to look at some of his most famous photos, talk about some stories. How does he get where he needs to be to get the right shot? Yeah. All this stuff. It's going to be great. Stick around. Be right back.
We are going to the Super Bowl! In the home of the Seahawks, KIRO News Radio is there.
Can you believe it?
All week long, G. Scott broadcasts live from Radio Row in San Francisco during the G and Ursula Show. Weekdays 9 to noon.
It is a circus like you have never seen.
And Luke Ducey will be on the ground.
I am on the lookout for everything 12s.
From the only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO News Radio.
Brock Ewart here with my buddy Shannon O'Kelly from IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, we met about a decade ago when you came into the studio, and at that point, IRG was humming, but you were not 40 locations strong all over the neighborhood. How have you done this, and why?
Number one, Brock, great people. Our strength here at IRG is our people. Secondly, we are a company that has a culture of giving back and taking care of our patients, taking care of our team, and thirdly, taking care of our community. We want to be your family physical therapist. More importantly, we want to be your family's neighborhood physical therapist. We want you to come in, have a great experience, and get better and get out there and be pain-free and function.
Take care of your friends. Taking care of your neighbors, taking care of your community, and taking care of Western Washington. With over 40 locations now, that's exactly what IRG Physical and Hand Therapy is doing. Find them in person, find them online at irgpt.com. That's irgpt.com.
This is the story of the one.
As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Olympic Hot Tub is celebrating Seattle's championship football team and the big game day ahead with a massive blue and green savings blitz. Get champion level wellness, a huge savings. Score big on saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. Hey, it's Ryan Roland-Smith. Let's make wellness and feeling terrific part of your everyday game plan. Don't let the clock run out. These winning deals end Sunday. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life. Go Seattle.
5 days until Super Bowl 60. The only station where you hear Steve Label call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump signs a spending bill ending a partial U.S. government shutdown. It comes after the House earlier today passed a roughly $1.2 trillion spending package. The vote wraps up congressional work on most of the annual appropriations bills, except, as CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns reports,
the big issue now is over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. And the one big beautiful bill, so-called, that passed Congress and signed into law by the president last year, that include increased funding for ICE, increased funding for DHS. So a big part of that department is already funded, but Democrats want to institute guardrails, particularly when it comes to ICE agents.
Renee Good's brothers are among those who've spoken at a forum in Washington, D.C. as part of an inquiry into federal agents and their use of force. Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent last month in Minneapolis, her brother Luke saying today.
The prayers and words of support have truly brought us comfort, and it is meaningful that these sentiments have come from people of all colors, faiths, and ideals.
Today's hearing was organized by 2 Democrats, Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut and Congressman Robert Garcia of California. Tensions continue to mount between the U.S. and Iran after an Iranian drone was shot down in the Arabian Sea.
U.S. Central Command says a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down the drone as it was approaching the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked about what might happen next.
The president has a range of options on the table with respect to Iran.
But she says President Trump would pursue diplomacy first.
It takes 2 to tango. You need a willing partner to achieve diplomacy, and that's something that Special Envoy Witkoff is intent on exploring and discussing.
Talks are scheduled to continue this week. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
More than a week after being hit by a winter storm, hundreds of customers remain without power in Louisiana. Yvonne Lewis, the interim mayor of Tallulah, believes the local company is doing the best it can to restore power.
It's not for us to say, well, we want you to come to Tallulah first. That's not our job. We have to, go with whatever emergency plan that Entergy has.
Entergy says restoration efforts have been hampered by continued tree failures. The U.S. stock market sank after a mixed day of trading. The Dow fell 167 points, the Nasdaq tumbled 337, and the S&P 500 fell 59 points. Nvidia, Microsoft, and other influential big tech stocks weighed on the market. Palantir Technologies reported a better profit than expected. Gold and silver prices bounced higher following their latest sell-off. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, that millionaire's tax now officially on the table in Olympia. Let's go first, though, to Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron. Simply Seattle brings us our update. Up in Everett, we're struggling this afternoon. North 5 is packed from 41st just past the Snohomish River. This stems from an earlier car fire, which has been extinguished and cleared already, so we're in recovery mode right now. Everett to Marysville has about a 10-minute delay. And then eastbound 526, we're packed, leaving the Boeing factory, headed over to I-5. Here in Seattle, South 5 looks great, just minor slowing there in the U District. North 5, we've got a couple backups, actually. One between the West Seattle Bridge and I-90, and then again about a mile thick backup approaching the Ship Canal Bridge. About 10 minutes to make your way through downtown Seattle. And South 405 off and on slowing between Factoria and the VMAC. Bellevue to Renton, just 15 minutes. Gear up for the big game at Simply Seattle. Shop official Seahawks playoff gear and custom Simply original designs. Shop in store or online and enter to win a $1,000 shopping spree now at simplyseattle.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. A proposed income tax on the state's wealthiest residents is now up for debate in Olympia. Democrats introduced that measure today. Senate Majority Leader Jamie Peterson says they're proposing a 9.9% tax on income over $1 million.
We have a broken, upside-down tax system that we have been stuck with for 90 years. We have a generational opportunity in front of us to change that trajectory.
Republican Senate Leader John Braun.
As I read it, this is a tax that starts with a certain group, prioritizes past due entities, so very much, in my view, an attack on small and medium-sized businesses that are going to damage our economy.
And now reaction from Governor Bob Ferguson, who says he cannot support the proposal in its current form, as we hear from KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
Ferguson likes that the plan eliminates age limitations for the working family's tax credit, but he wants broader eligibility and more money. He likes the idea of small business tax relief. The plan calls for $104 million. He wants $1 billion. And he also wants more sales tax exemptions.
I remain confident that we'll get where we need to be. There's still plenty of time left in this legislative session.
Democratic state leaders say they know that the proposal, as it's written now, is not what's going to end up on the governor's desk, and negotiations continue. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
A case involving contraband at a juvenile facility is now under police investigation. The Department of Children, Youth, and Family says a marijuana pen and possible methamphetamines were found at a Green Hills staffer's workstation yesterday. Agency notified the Chehalis Police Department, which is now investigating. As Seattle police continue to search for a suspect in that fatal shooting of 2 Rainier Beach High School students, the community stepping up to help the victims' families. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
Charles Davis owns C. Davis Texas Barbecue, and he started a GoFundMe account to help the family through a very difficult time.
I just wanted to do my part, try to raise as much money as I can to help pay for food and then pay for funeral services.
Nearly $7,000 has been raised. If you'd like to help, search Supporting Families After a Seattle Tragedy on GoFundMe. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Now to your forecast, seeing mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. Mild temperatures in the upper 50s. Could see a few low 60s, though, this afternoon in certain spots. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. This is going to be a great one, Spike. I'm so excited about this. It's fantastic. Everybody's jacked up and excited about the Super Bowl. Yes. The Seahawks are down in Santa Clara. Everybody's getting ready. Did you say they have today off, though?
Today, just like every other day this season. Coach McDonald has once uniformity, a sense of normalcy. This is just a football game playing between
routine and
the
habits.
goal lines. Yes, every week. This is week 21, I believe, is in their season. Not Super Bowl week, and they get Tuesdays off. So today is players have a day off.
Phenomenal.
That's
Get
great.
that rest.
If folks aren't watching on YouTube, this is a great time for you to real quickly.
Yeah, get on
YouTube. Go to Jake and Spike Show channel on YouTube, and you can see what our next guest has brought to this region.
Yes.
Your life, my life, every 12's life.
You can find
And
us
so much
on,
more.
if you go to YouTube, look up KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, and then Jake and Spike are going to pop up there, and you can just click on us. And we're excited to welcome onto the show right now, a very special guest and a friend of Spike's, Rod Marr, who is a photographer for the Seattle Seahawks.
Team photographer.
Joins us now. Rod, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How are you? Thanks so much for having me on today.
Spike, start with this guy. How do you know this guy?
So this guy is one of the few people in the world who have a better seat at the stadium than I do. Rod has been part of, as long as I've known, or I've been a fan of the Seahawks, you've been a part of that world because I get to see you when I go to games. We'd see at various other events, sporting events, concert events. One time I ran into you were photographing high school football on a Friday night up in my kids' school in Shoreline. And Rod's a very personable guy and very approachable, even though he's in the middle of a football game. Before you get you before or after. I have enough sense not to bug you during the game. That being said, Rod Marr was team photographer for the Seattle Seahawks and so many other events in our area. But you have been tasked with. I love your quote on your website. It's like you have to tell a story with your pictures, and it's like 1/1000th of a second
Right.
by the time of a blink of an eye, and you are literally capturing moments in our life, in our history with regard to the things you photograph. Is that fair?
Totally fair. It's such a great opportunity for all these years to be able to document some of the greatest moments and players and coaches and teams in our region. And that doesn't change this week. Here we are for the Super Bowl. It's always a phenomenal experience, and things are just ramping up as we build towards Sunday.
Hey, Rod, you're down in Santa Clara right now. It looks like you're in a hotel room or something.
Yep.
What's the atmosphere like right now? Do the Seahawks want you covering all the media week stuff as well? So I've been seeing all these pictures of like Sam Darnold talking to people and all the players. Are you out there getting pictures of that stuff too?
Yeah. So my job is to document the team and all the things that we do. And so that started when we left the Virginia Mason Athletic Center and boarded the buses to take us to the airport. And I was right up front on the first bus so I could photograph all the 12s along the route, and then boarding the plane and then departing once we landed here in San Jose. And then yesterday we had a workout, and then media night last night, or NFL Super Bowl opening night, I believe is what it's called now. And then I just got back from press conferences this afternoon. So there was a select number of players who had to do media today, and then they get the rest of the day off, as Spike said.
What, this is like a dream job. Can you, just for our audience a little bit, because we have a few minutes here, like you're hanging out. We all watch these guys just like daydream about, just going to a game is phenomenal, but getting to know these guys firsthand. How did you get into this job? Like, how did you start with photography?
Oh, just pure, sheer accident. I think I'm the luckiest person in the world. A million years ago, I was in college, and I don't know if either of you guys went to the University of Washington, but way back in the day when I graduated, and I did graduate. That's from my parents. Yeah.
Did you study photography?
I did not.
Oh, perfect.
I've never taken a photo class. I've never taken a photo class.
Really?
In my life.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. Yeah.
No, the great thing is you can grab a camera and you can experiment, and now we're digital, so it just goes by faster. But back in the college days, you could drop a class at University of Washington up until the last day of classes before finals week. And I had a class, and I was, of course, struggling because I was working at the University of Washington daily and not paying any attention, to school. It was just, I just want to be a photographer, right? So I sleep through a final, and it was the last day of classes because my professor was going on sabbatical or something. So I go running across campus, go find my counselor, like throw the door open, and she's like, "Oh no, you're back." And I said, "You need to get me out of this class. You need to get me out of this class because I just slept through the final." And she goes, "I'll do it, but you have to take an internship and you like sports. It's called Inside the Seahawks." And Inside the Seahawks was a weekly fan magazine, and the publisher was none other than Kenny Easley. And so I tripped and fell and lucked my way into an internship where my first boss was Kenny Easley, and I was covering the Seahawks.
Wow.
And from there, I went to the Seattle Times, and now I'm at the Seahawks. It's, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, this doesn't happen unless you've got an incredible talent.
Yeah.
And an eye for the moments that you capture, and we still share to this day. How long did it take you to get, were you instantly knew where to be and when to be and how to anticipate things, or has that grown over your career?
Yeah, that instinct is crazy.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Very much appreciative. You know, I had a mentor at the Seattle Times named Harley Soltis, and he drilled into me that every photo I took needed to tell a story. He said, it just can't be a simple action photo of someone running or someone catching. Like, a writer gets 17, 20 inches of type, you know, to tell the story. He goes, you get one picture, you get 1,000th of a second. So find a way to always tell a story. And that stayed with me my entire career. And so, you know, and I'm a huge fan of sports, but I also know my job. My job is to capture and create and freeze moments in time. And now looking back on my career, kind of in a lot of Seattle sports history.
So when you're watching a game, like some of these famous photos, and we have a few here, which we'll look at here in a second, but are you able to, how can you even guess where to be? Because it's a huge field. So like, how are you positioning yourself on the field and on the sideline?
Do you move with the play of the flow of the game?
Right. I do move with the flow of the game, but it's easier now that I work for the Seahawks because I always want the Seahawks facing me. So if we're on offense, I'll be downfield.
Okay.
If we're on defense and the opponent has the ball, I'll be behind the line of scrimmage. So in the case of Ernest Jones intercepting a pass, he's going to be running towards me, or Rashid Shaheed bringing a kickoff return, you know, back for a touchdown. They're always going to be running towards me. And I pay attention to down and distance and time, score, and situation and all those things. And, you know, everyone thinks, well, you go to practice so you know what the plays are. You know, it's not like when we played football in the cul-de-sac, right? And you're going to do a down and out. There's a million variations of formation and things change depending on what the defense does. So you never know really where it's going. But I've trained, like I take it very seriously, like practicing photography still. Just like I think I read that top musicians play their scales every day. Like every day at practice, I'm trying to get better. And knock on wood, it's paying off.
Yeah, it is.
Unbelievable. Can we look at? Are you able to see if we go through some of these photos?
Can you see them too, Rod?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. This just starts. 2 weeks ago. This is after the NFC Championship game, and what's the story? The story to me was these two men.
And this is Mike McDonald and John Schneider. Yeah.
And Mike McDonald. This is John Schneider, our general manager, who hired Mike McDonald for his first job as an NFL head coach. And I knew this moment would be really special for them. And I also knew it would be a really special moment to capture because, it's only been 2 years and they are headed to the Super Bowl.
That's unbelievable. But what's so cool about that is you knew, obviously, best case scenario, if they were to win that game, you knew you needed to be somewhere specific on the field. So are you preparing for that as the game is winding down? Are you looking at Schneider? You know he's going to go find Mike McDonald at some point. So are you just tagging along with him, or how did you arrange that?
I wanted to get a reaction from Mike because he was on the field, right there in the sideline box. I didn't know really where John was. I knew they would find each other, but I wanted to capture Mike, so I stayed with him. And there's a lot of pre-thinking, a lot of, late at night thinking about game scenarios. I'm already thinking about Sunday, obviously, and what can happen and where I should be and what lands and what's the light going to be like. By the end of the game, it's going to be dark here. At kickoff, it'll be light. So I'm thinking about all those kind of dorky things.
And are you using like light sensors and everything? I mean, as you're going, are you making constant changes? I mean, just like the play is constantly changing. They're reading offenses and defenses. Are you making those same changes?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And, sometimes as a photographer, and this is kind of geeky, but I want backlight because it might be more dramatic. There's a frame that we're going to see in a little bit that I shot at our workouts yesterday where I'm kind of playing with light and trying to make what might be a boring situation more interesting. This is Leonard Williams.
That's Big Cat. The moment of the championship. Look at that.
He just put his hat on, and I wanted, so if I just photograph him standing up, he's on a football field. But if I get low, then I see the arches of Lumen Field.
Yeah.
And so,
So
I
smart.
think one of the things that separates professional photographers from non-pros is I'm always thinking about the background, because the background's going to help me tell a story. So forever, this photo is going to be, we won the NFC Championship at home in our stadium.
It's undeniable. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. Speaking of being a pro, this Sunday's, I hate to say it, it's amateur hour. There's 1,020 photographers out there. It's harder for you in these games where there's so much press on site, right? Is it different than regular Sunday?
No,
Really?
I'm not a very large person, and I just need a couple feet of. You can't tell on YouTube on this camera. I'm not 6'4".
Okay.
Otherwise, my first dream was to be in the NBA, fellas. Come on,
But you probably
but
seen
no, I follow Mike's mantra, which is, this is just another game. You've done this your whole life. They've played this game their whole life. I've been photographing all of my adult life, just thinking about really being in the moment. And I think the first Super Bowl I photographed in 2005, I was working at Seattle Times, and I think I kind of overthought it. I think I made the moment maybe too big, and I was terrible. Like, my photos were terrible. It was awful.
I'm sure they're better than most. I'm sure they're pretty good. Maybe by your standards today, they're bad, but I'm sure they're pretty great.
Thank you. I mean, one of the things before the 2013 Super Bowl, I remember Chris Richard, who was the defensive backs coach, telling the players, like, don't go out there and give 110%. Don't think this is the biggest game of your life. Like, do what you've always done. You give 100%. Don't try and cover up for a mistake someone else makes. If everyone just does their job, we will be successful, because you've trained for this and you're good at it. So I try and keep that in mind, and that way the moment never gets too big anymore. It's just taking pictures.
Let's look at a few more of these pictures before we run out of time. This is this the one you were talking about in the locker room, or which one you were just talking about?
This is in the locker room, and I've got a little Super Bowl logo there from the last Super Bowl, but I just love the expression. We can go to the next picture, and it's Mike in the locker room, and the next one after that is just all of the guys.
Oh man, this
just
is cool.
On the defense wanting a photo together, right? And so then we transfer and we get to Santa Clara, I believe, right the next slide.
That's 12
on the 12 setting everybody off.
Yeah, fans and just trying to capture this, because, in 10, 20, 30 years, like, these photos will mean more probably than they do now. And so you can see the next one. They're up on the overpass, and then we arrive in Santa Clara, San Jose. And so this is the photo I'm talking about, where it's guys running through ladders, right, and on the ground, and they're just doing a workout. And I've got a wide angle lens, and I want the players to look big, so I put the camera on the ground, and then I put the sun behind them so I can silhouette it. And then it just becomes kind of a different image than just guys running. Or doing a drill.
It's also,
so I'm always trying to find that.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's really interesting too here, because this is all silhouette. You can't even really tell. I mean, you might know, like, a super fan could probably like tell the body shapes and stuff, but they just look like a big group of guys, not necessarily like individuals. They're a big group of guys working out together.
Yeah. But I'm trying to show the place, right? So we have sun, we see some palm trees, even though we're in Northern California, and the true fans will know that that's Devin Witherspoon just by his body language in the middle of that frame.
Yeah. Oh, that's phenomenal. Just a quick side note, did you ever work for did you ever take pictures of the Sonics? Did you ever work with the Sonics?
Yes. That
look so familiar to me.
Basketball's my first love.
I was a ball boy for like 4 or 5 years for the Sonics, and I swear, were you on
that? That's where you would know me from.
As soon as I saw his face, I was like, I know this guy. You were, you must have been on the side of the court the entire time.
That's where you photograph basketball. Bring them back. Bring back the Sonics.
I know we're almost running out of time. I know how busy your schedule is. I can't thank you enough for making time this week to talk to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about
you guys.
We talked about you being in the right place at the right time. There was a photograph that you shared in the Hawks-Niner game, and it wasn't in the playoffs. This was the game down in Santa Clara where their winner would likely have home field advantage for the NFC playoffs. And this is the moment that Drake Thomas intercepts the ball out of Christian McCaffrey's hands. I mean, that is one of the most iconic moments of this season, if not all Seahawks time, because that play changed the course of the season and is one of the reasons probably that we had home field advantage and we're now in the Super Bowl. And you were that is a moment, dude. Your instincts and your talent is otherworldly.
Thank you. I can take some credit for it. I'm 85 yards away from that play. I have the technology of incredible Nikon cameras and lenses that can see, and that happened so quickly. And my camera is shooting 20 frames a second. So I don't actually even see the ball loose. I just know something's happened. And then I'm reviewing the frames in camera, and I can, I obviously know by now it was an interception. And then I'm fortunate enough to get the ball like just in between the two players.
So you're like treasure hunting. You go look through all these shots that your digital cameras provided you, and you've got it. Wow.
Yeah, I think the hardest part is trying to keep everything in focus, because the cameras, you have to focus them. You got to know where the action is, and then you've got to put the target in the camera in the right spot, make sure that you can get it sharp and in focus, because nothing worse than an out of focus picture for a sports photographer.
What a rush too when you do, when you go back and you look what you've got and you find that you have gold. You must be pretty jacked about that.
Hey, listen, you don't need like a assistant. Do you carry your gear around the field, lug it around, bring you water, keep you hydrated?
Somebody who moves kind of slow.
Sure.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, Rod Marr, dude, you're great. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate your time, and go Seahawks.
Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, bud, we'll talk to you. Best of luck. Go Hawks.
Oh,
thanks,
man.
All right, later.
What a cool dude. What a cool job.
I know. And isn't that your dream job?
I knew him instantly. As soon as I saw him, I went,
I know that
worked
guy.
for the Sonics.
Yeah, you bet.
Man, that's
Rod Marr,
so fun. Rod Marr, Seahawks photographer. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We got a new podcast we're debuting, which is very exciting.
Yes.
And our very own Laura Scott.
She's a star.
Is an actress on it. We'll talk about that next. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
We are going to the Super Bowl!
In the home of the Seahawks, KIRO Newsradio is there.
Can you believe it?
All week long, G. Scott broadcasts live from Radio Row in San Francisco during the G and Ursula Show. Weekdays 9 to noon.
It is a circus like you have never seen.
And Luke Ducey will be on the ground.
I am on the lookout for everything 12s.
From the only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO News Radio.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. I'm here with Wes Jones of sellwithwes.com. And Wes, you were just telling me you think 2026 is going to be a rebound year for the housing market.
That's right. I think we're heading into the best real estate market of the past 4 years. And here's why. If you take a step back and look at the big picture, experts are anticipating a 15% increase in sales volume next year. Interest rates are at near 3-year lows and trending down, and home prices have held near all-time highs. There is a lot of pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their time to jump into the market since 2022, and they need a place to buy.
So, hey, 2026 might be your year. If you're considering selling your home, if you're thinking about moving, but there was something that was just holding you back, now might be a great time. So do this. Go to sellwithwes.com. You can see your home's real value there with Wes's home value calculator. Then schedule an appointment by giving him a call. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. It really just is a better way to sell your home.
See country star Aaron Lewis and the Stateliners at Muckleshoot Casino Resort, March 24th at 8 p.m. And now an added show on March 25th. He's a multi-platinum artist whose raw lyrics and powerhouse vocals have captivated fans for decades. Now he and his band, the Stateliners, are coming to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Get your tickets now to see Aaron Lewis at muckleshootcasino.com.
For almost 50 years, over 90,000 homeowners have trusted Home Comfort Alliance, including me, John Curley here. If comfort and energy savings matter to you, now is the time. Save up to $2,000 on a new Lennox heating and cooling system. Home Comfort Alliance will replace your system with one tailored to your home's layout and energy optimization. Visit homecomfortalliance.com to save up to $2,000 on a Lennox and schedule a free consultation. For heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical, call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in 1 day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Advanced Hair Restoration, the simple one-day hair loss solution that's guaranteed to regrow your own natural hair. AdvancedHair.com. AdvancedHair.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. President Trump has now signed off on that deal to end the partial government shutdown.
It slashes nearly $10 billion in wasteful foreign aid spending, giving money to countries that don't need it. They have plenty of money.
Measure temporarily funds the Department of Homeland Security as Democrats and Republicans now begin talks over immigration enforcement. Washington U.S. Senator Patty Murray says future funding for DHS depends on changes at the agency.
We're going to have accountability at DHS, or there will not be Democratic votes to fund a lawless agency.
Democrats want limits on federal agents' authority, including bans on masks and expanded use of body cameras. Ahead of the Super Bowl, DHS has announced no ICE agents will be patrolling at the game. Here's CBS's Stacey Lynn.
About 1.3 million people will be in Santa Clara, California this week for the Super Bowl. DHS agent Jeffrey Brannigan says federal law enforcement will be there.
Our responsibility is to support the security planning of the cities that are responsible for these events, and that is what we are doing. There are multiple DHS agencies involved in that effort.
But NFL security chief Kathy Lanier says that doesn't include ICE.
There's no ICE agents assigned as a part of our security team here.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
It was 11 years ago, the last time the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl. A fan made a bet with his friends. No haircuts until the team took home another Lombardi trophy. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey has more.
The worst thing about long hair down to Mike Hempler's waist?
Washing and conditioning.
But he wasn't about to welch on the bet he made 11 long years ago not to cut his hair until the Seahawks won a Super Bowl.
And I said it to enough people to where I figured, you know what, I gotta stay true to my word.
Mike hopes the Hawks win so he can get a clean cut. He's also having fun with it all, raising money for a local youth center in Hawaii.
If we can raise some money, regardless of the outcome, it'd be cool to just do it.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
All right, let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 2:33. Check in with Nate Connors.
All right, let's start you up in Everett, where we are thinning out northbound I-5 between the Boeing Freeway and Highway 2 from an earlier car fire. We're down about a 5-minute delay between Everett and Marysville. The drive to Everett is wide open from Bellevue and Seattle right now. Heading into Seattle from the north end, South 5, just minor slowing in the U District in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle, in fact, is just 15 minutes. Now, northbound I-5 is a different story. We're packed approaching the West Seattle Bridge to the express lane's entrance. Again, most of this traffic is stacked up on the left side of the freeway. If you stick to the right, you'll save yourself a few minutes. And then our Revive I-5 backup starts just past Mercer across the bridge. All added up, it's going to take you 20-25 minutes to clear downtown Seattle. South 405, you're packed through Factoria after Cold Creek Parkway. Things thin out for you. Plan on 20 minutes between Bellevue and Renton. And northbound 405 starting to fill in a bit through the Renton S-curves. This report brought to you by the Pro Shop. Gear up for the Super Bowl. Shop postseason gear in store at Lumen Field or the Landing in Renton. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Staying mostly cloudy this afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Could see low 60s, though, for a few days this week. Right now, 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. If you guys missed any of our interview we just did with the Seahawks photographer, Rod Marr, go back and listen to the podcast. It's really fascinating just to hear how he gets those shots, how he can kind of anticipate where a play is going to be and just be able to get that perfect angle, even if he's 85 yards away.
How he got that job.
Yeah, how he got the job.
What a guy.
Like all careers, you fall into some of these jobs. Yes. Well, we have a burgeoning career happening right in front of our eyes. And it's with Laura Scott, who is an actress.
Yeah.
In podcasting.
I'm about to get out of here.
She's a voice actress.
Yeah.
She's finally made good.
I love this.
They have a project that has sold, and it's going to be super famous soon. The name of the podcast is Gardens of Evil Inside the Zion Society Cult. Available everywhere you can get podcasts. And the producer, director, writer of that, Aaron Mason, joins us now. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
Aaron, how did you discover Laura Scott?
Well,
how could he not?
Funny enough, so this story, there's a woman in this story, a young woman who sort of kicked off the whole investigation that ended up taking down this cult that was abusing kids. That's what the podcast is about in a nutshell.
Sure.
And I had very little tape of this woman because all that stuff gets destroyed. The interviews and everything I have transcripts of, but all the audio gets destroyed after the case is closed for a certain amount of years. Just they can't store everything forever.
Sure.
So I'm listening to the one clip I have of her, and I go, she kind of sounds like Laura. And I went to Laura and went, hey, would you want to do this? Would you want to record some lines from the transcript? So, it's you connect more emotionally.
Sure.
If it's a voice and not like mine narrating it.
Well, people may wonder, you're not just like a person off the street who just listens to the show and you heard Laura's voice. We work with you here through our parent company.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you have produced very phenomenally successful podcasts, probably most famously the podcast Cold.
Yeah, Cold was a big one.
Produced. And so now you're diving into this true story of a real cult.
Yeah.
So what's the process like in making this? Like, how much research goes into this? Because if people listen to these long form podcasts, especially investigative ones, it takes a ton of time.
Totally.
And it's hours and hours and hours to listen to. But to do it, I imagine, is a phenomenal work.
It's taken me. I'm a team of one, so I've written, I narrate, I edited, did all the audio production, did all the interviews. Basically myself.
Wow.
And that has taken on and off about 2 years to finally complete. We'll have 7 episodes come out, maybe an 8th sort of bonus thing, because I have so much tape from so many people.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been a huge experience. It's been a really impactful experience. I went into it thinking this is a really crazy story. It's a story that's never been told. The lead detective in the case kind of got it by accident. He was another kind of cop, but no one was there that day to talk to this woman who just sort of randomly came in. He's like, fine, I'll go take a message for a detective who can like handle this.
Yeah, when the real cops get back.
When the real cops get back. And she said, I've been involved in a cult that's abusing kids. Will you talk to me?
Whoa.
And he was like, oh, okay. And he ends up being the lead investigator, changes his life. This happened in 1991, by the way.
Sure.
He just recently retired. His name's Mike King. But Mike has gone on and dedicated his whole life to crimes like this, to abuse. He's a really accomplished, amazing guy. And he's donating all of his proceeds from this show to help with children and a scholarship fund for law enforcement.
How did you get this story? How did it come across your desk, if that's the right word?
Mike wrote a book right before he retired about this case. And it hasn't really been told, this story. But Mike wrote this book as a sort of memoir, and he went around Salt Lake, and my bosses are in Salt Lake, and they said, we think you might be interested in this. And I met up with Mike, and he's sort of a main character in this story. He's in every episode.
Yeah.
We kind of follow him in the investigation side of things.
And again, the podcast is called Gardens of Evil Inside the Zion Society Cult. Now, people can get this. They just do a search for that wherever they get podcasts.
Yep.
So you get Mike's story, you interview him, you read his book, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Are you also reaching out and talking to all the people that were involved in the story?
Yes. And it happened 35 years ago, and there are people that you will hear in this podcast that have never spoken about it. Mm-hmm. One woman in particular was a very hard no, and ended up coming to this thing that I was at in Utah, and she didn't really realize what it was and almost left, but we ended up talking, and she finally got to speak to the other women she hadn't seen in all that time, and it totally changed her life. And it's been a really amazing experience for me and for everyone who's kind of been touched by it.
This is an incredible story for these people to trust you to tell.
Spike, for real. That's what means the most to me. And we'll get phone numbers and emails to set up these interviews, and afterwards I've had quite a few of them be like, hey, it was really, like, thanks for being so nice. Like, it was really great talking to you. And that's all I really want from this project is to do their story right and have it be what they want to have out there, because they trusted me to tell it.
Do we have a few clips that we can play from this?
Yeah. So I got 3 clips from the first episode.
Okay.
The first one,
which debuted today, and people can download,
which is out today.
Gardens of Evil. Look it up.
Gardens of Evil. The story starts 10 years before our main timeline, and the story in a nutshell, is about this cult that was abusing kids and was in a glorified cul-de-sac, basically, in a suburb. And this was happening right under people's noses. And all of these homes that the cult owned, they owned upwards of like a dozen homes by the time the cult was at its peak, had these incredible yards. The landscape, like people would drive through this quiet little neighborhood to just look at the landscaping. And it's because there was a guy who lived there, a retired landscaper named Arvin Shreve. He was 61 at the end of our story, an older guy. And back in the early 80s, this young couple move into this neighborhood as it's being constructed. Their names are Ron and Jackie. And they get introduced. They're like, what's up with these yards? Their neighbor has an amazing yard. They go, oh, that's my dad. They introduce him to Arvin. And over a year and a half, they become like ingratiated in this group in this neighborhood. They start sharing basement storage for stocking up on food supplies and things, like general community stuff, a little wacky, but nothing out of control. And then after they've sort of gotten isolated over a year and a half in this community, Arvin decides to go over to one of their houses and sit Ron and Jackie down to like pitch them what this is really all about. And I have some tape of Ron and Jackie responding to that.
And he really went big on her because of her mom.
Jackie's mother had passed away only a couple years earlier, a fact Arvin already knew.
And he stopped when he starts to cry. And he says, I want you to know that your mom is standing right up over your head. Remember?
Mm-hmm, I do.
And I just think about that. And that's pure evil. I mean, he used what was sacred to us to get to what he wanted.
Yes.
Was that actually Ron and Jackie?
That was, yep. That was Ron and Jackie.
That's not me voice acting as
I was
Ron.
going to say,
FYI.
I was like, your voice is really
You didn't even
low.
know what I could do.
Here's what I want to do. We don't normally do this, but can we stretch this out for one more segment?
Yeah,
Can you come back and talk for just a couple more minutes?
For sure.
This is fascinating to me. All right, stick around. We got more audio to play. We're here talking with Aaron Mason about this new podcast, Gardens of Evil, inside the Zion Society cult, and it's actually featuring our very own Laura Scott as a voice actress. So we will be right back. Stick around.
We are going to the Super Bowl! And the home of the Seahawks, KIRO Newsradio, is there.
Can you believe it?
All week long, G. Scott broadcasts live from Radio Row in San Francisco during the G and Ursula Show. Weekdays 9 to noon.
It is a circus like you have never seen.
And Luke Ducey will be on the ground.
I am on the lookout for everything 12s.
From the only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO Newsradio.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Andre. Andre, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I were going to get married, and we wanted to combine our insurance for both home and auto.
Were they able to save you any money?
The money they quoted us was actually the same as what we were paying separately. However, the coverage that we received was immensely greater than what we were previously receiving. It's quite scary how unprotected we were with our previous coverage. Under First Mark, I'd probably say we doubled the coverage that we had. It was a huge deal.
What would you tell others they can expect when they make that call to First Mark?
Take the 15-minute phone call. It's totally free. It's not going to cost me a thing. And the very least that could happen is just gain a better understanding. The best that could happen is you could either save money or get much better coverage, which is exactly what happened.
Andre did it. My family did it. You got to do it. And it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you're wearing glasses or contacts, but you need reading glasses or bifocals now, you need to join Doctors Kopstein and King for the K2 Vision RLE live webinar this Thursday at noon to learn about refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE. This free webinar is a perfect opportunity to meet the doctors and have them answer all your questions about K2 Vision RLE. Questions like, how much does RLE cost? Is financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE? These questions and lots more will be covered this Thursday at noon during the K2 Vision RLE free live webinar. K2 Vision surgeons have performed over 150,000 procedures. They know when RLE is right for you. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Plus, no more cataracts. Don't miss the free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Register at K2VisionRLE.com. K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in one day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Advanced Hair Restoration, the simple one-day hair loss solution that's guaranteed to regrow your own natural hair. AdvancedHair.com. AdvancedHair.com.
Olympic Hot Tub is celebrating Seattle's championship football team and the big game day ahead with a massive blue and green savings blitz. Get champion level wellness at huge savings. Score big on saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. Hey, it's Ryan Roland Smith. Let's make wellness and feeling terrific part of your everyday game plan. Don't let the clock run out. These winning deals end Sunday. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life. Go Seattle.
Welcome back to the show. We normally do text messages here, but we're having a fascinating conversation about a new podcast that's available today. Produced by Aaron Mason, who was the producer of the Cold podcast, which you've probably listened to. If you haven't, you should. His new podcast is called Gardens of Evil Inside the Zion Society Cult. It's a true story. Mm-hmm. Our very own Laura Scott is one of the voice actresses in the series, which we will play in just a second for you. But before the break, Aaron, we were talking about a couple that you had a chance to talk to and get audio from who found that the neighborhood that they had moved into, surrounded by all these beautifully manicured lawns of this, like this cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
They might have been living amongst a cult.
Yeah, and they slowly got ingratiated, and it's over a year and a half.
It's like
and
a
you
movie.
think
It's so bizarre.
Yes, and you think how can this happen to someone? And the truth is, it's very slow, and they had young kids, and this group would do things for free for them. They kind of pooled their money, and it was financial security. It was, all these great benefits, and all they had to do was kind of go along with some stuff. Now, for a year and a half, Ron and Jackie each thought things were a little weird, but assumed that it's what the other person wanted, and that's what gets to our next clip.
I think we were both feeling and thinking the same thing, but we failed to talk to each other about it for a minute.
And we sat in bed that night, and she just started crying and said, "We're out of this. This is not right."
I told Ron, "I'm done."
And I'm like, "But I thought you were okay with it." And she's like, "And I thought you were." And I'm like, "Then we're out of here. We're putting the house up for sale."
Confusion is fertile soil for manipulators. But the Van Beekums finally talked to each other honestly instead of assuming what the other thought, and that cleared away the fog that Arvin thrived in. So one of the missions of this podcast is to highlight the playbook that manipulators and abusers use, because it's all the same thing. This story of this cult, and it gets crazy, trust me, is an extreme example of things that have happened to all of us in our lives. It's the same techniques. It's a bad boyfriend or an abusive boss or whatever it is. Someone who selfishly wants to get something out of you and manipulates you to do that. And so we use the podcast to call out some of that stuff. And finally, drum roll, the star of the show.
Nice.
Ms. Laura Scott. So 10 years later, this young woman walks into the county attorney's office, asks to please speak to someone. And she has to confess that she was in this cult. The first voice you'll hear is Detective Mike King. He's ends up being the lead investigator in this case. He's a main character in the show. And the other voice that isn't mine is Ms. Scott.
I had to consider the fact that her involvement meant that she could actually be one of the predators and not just someone who's revealing predatory behavior of others.
Mike pulled up a chair and invited the young woman to sit down. But before he could say anything, she blurted out something Mike said felt like a rehearsed statement, here read by a voice actor.
I came to the county attorney's office because of the guilt I had been feeling for a long time. I know terrible crimes are being committed. It's been a heavy burden, and I need to turn the abusers in.
Wow.
Now, let me tell you, she gets good. She gets on a roll.
You nailed
There's
that.
some real emotional stuff.
I guess you guys are missing it. I'm kind of the whistleblower of the whole thing.
It sounds like
Very
that's
much
the
so.
case, yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
very
kind
much
of the
so.
star of the podcast, you might say.
Was your character, Laura, was that somebody who was a child at the time, 10 years earlier, or was she...
She was not involved in the cult 10 years earlier. The 10 years earlier stuff is sort of a peek into the sort of beginnings of what ends up becoming this 100 or so member group that's doing these awful things.
So the first episode's been released today.
It's been released today.
Do we know how often will they be released?
Every week, every Tuesday.
7 in total?
Mm-hmm.
And Laura is prominently featured throughout?
She is featured throughout the first couple episodes because the story moves in quite a few different directions.
All right, well, that's Aaron Mason. The podcast is Gardens of Evil. I'm going to go download it. I'm going to listen to it on my way home today.
Thanks, homie.
Gardens of Evil inside the Zion Society cult. Everybody check it out. Thank you guys so much for a great show today. This was a really great show, and John Curley's coming up next. We will see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Does my voice sound pretty good?
Better than I thought it would.
The John Curley Show.
I was really trying to work with my diaphragm.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I was screaming as everybody else was screaming, and all of a sudden the muscles in my neck tightened up and it shut off blood in my head. I thought I almost passed out. I was so close.
What if you died?
Well, I would have been paying no attention to me like, get up, Dad.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Nick, did you know this is called quit time? Did you know what that is?
I do not know.
That means right about this time of the year, people quit their New Year's resolutions.
Oh, kind of like last year.
Okay, never mind. The important thing is that both of us made a New Year's resolution that we would take better care of ourselves for each other. And we're holding to that.
We are not flaming out because...
Longevity Medical Clinic. So we get the support of Longevity. We told them what our goals were, and they're like, absolutely, we'll get you in line. So they support me, they support you, and then as a couple, they're making us accountable for the decisions we make. So we're not going to be quitting on these things. I can't remember what your New Year's resolution was around the house.
My New Year's resolution around the house was that I was going to try to get you to start putting things away.
And I was going to get you to actually learn how to cook a piece of chicken.
Oh, well, that's for next year.
Okay, fine. Either way, we've got a team behind us. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 3/22/26. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Robert. Robert, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I heard an ad, and my wife and I had just got our policy renewals from our previous provider, and everything had gone up quite a bit, 30-40%, so I thought I'd give it a try. It was a pleasant experience, very easy. It only took a couple of days to get the good news back.
And were they able to save you money?
Yeah, we were able to save well over $1,000. Not only did we save money, our agent found that we had some gaps in coverage, and they were able to not only save money, but improve our coverage.
Well, now you can be a good friend, and you can tell everybody about it.
Well, I have. I've, in fact, passed it on to a couple of my good friends, and they're taking the challenge as well. So it's been great.
Robert did it. My family did it. Now you got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you could be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
5 days until Super Bowl 60. The only station where you hear Steve Label call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper in the Oval Office.
Inside.
President Trump signs a spending bill ending the 4-day partial government shutdown. Details from our Cammie McCormick.
The measure funds most of the government through September 30th while providing the Department of Homeland Security with short-term funding for 2 weeks while lawmakers negotiate potential changes to ICE operations as Democrats demanded.
Of the demands that were made, the requests that were made, many of those are already being implemented.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
The roving patrols will be modified. There are a lot of things that I think were thoughtful suggestions that would have already been implemented by Mr. Homan and others who are in charge of all this. And so I think we can get to an agreement. I certainly hope that's true.
Also taking place on Capitol Hill today, a forum arranged by Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal and Congressman Robert Garcia focused on the use of force by Homeland Security agents. Brent and Luke Ganger were among the speakers. Their sister Renee Good was shot to death in her car last month by ICE agents in Minneapolis. Brent Ganger saying of his sister,
"As a mother, Renee poured herself into love. The kind of love that shows up every day, that sacrifices quietly, that cheers loudly, that believes deeply. Her children were and are her heart.
Republican Congressman James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, says the Clintons, who had refused to testify in the committee's Jeffrey Epstein investigation, will now make an appearance, avoiding a contempt of Congress vote. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will appear on February 26th, and former President Trump will speak the following day. President Trump's threats of nationalizing elections is facing some major pushback, the president making the comments on a podcast claiming voting is so crooked in some states without providing any proof for his claims. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
The White House sent us this statement. President Trump cares deeply about the safety and security of our elections. That's why he's urged Congress to pass the SAVE Act and other legislative proposals that would establish a uniform standard of photo ID for voting, prohibit no-excuse mail-in voting, and end the practice of ballot harvesting.
SAVE Act is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. Authorities are still searching for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Police believe she was taken from her Arizona home over the weekend against her will. The Pima County, Arizona Sheriff's Department says it is aware of reports of a possible ransom note. No confirmation. CBS's Anna Schechter reports.
There is so much we don't know, and the sheriff might know more than he is telling the press and the public, and could be for reasons related to the ongoing investigation.
Stocks closed down on Wall Street. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS News Roundup on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, what the governor says about that proposed millionaire's tax. Coming up after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Nothing out of the ordinary to report. For the most part, it's still a light commute for most. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett, in fact, are both doing great, taking just 35 minutes. South 5 heading into Seattle. We're starting to see some minor building volumes in the U District in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle still less than 20. North 5, though, we've got scattered backups between the West Seattle and the Ship Canal bridges. 25 minutes gets you through this. South 405, you're thick through Factoria. After Cold Creek Parkway, you'll start to thin out. It's a 20-minute drive from Bellevue to Renton. North 405, pretty heavy now through the Renton S-curves. Renton to Bellevue, 15 minutes. The Valley Freeway, we're slowly filling in. Plan on 40 minutes from Renton to Puyallup. This report brought to you by the Seahawks mobile app. Download the app today to keep up with the action all season long. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Washington lawmakers have officially introduced an income tax on millionaires. The bill would levy a 9.9% tax on income above $1 million. Republican Senate Leader John Braun.
Disappointed to see that. I think that goes absolutely in the wrong direction on affordability.
House Majority Leader Democrat Joe Fitzgibbon says that money would help pay for education, health care, and community safety.
We think this is a real opportunity for a win-win-win for our state.
Governor Bob Ferguson does not agree. He says he cannot support the proposal in its current form. As KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports, the governor believes it does not go far enough.
Governor Ferguson says he and Democratic state leaders agree that Washington's tax system is upside down, with working families paying a higher share than the state's wealthiest residents.
My focus will be that we are listening and hearing the voices of many, many Washingtonians who are struggling right now.
The plan eliminates age limits on the working family's tax credit, but Ferguson wants broader eligibility and bigger checks. And it includes sales tax exemptions for hygiene products. Ferguson also wants them for essentials like diapers. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
27 cats in one Pierce County family's home. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports that is well beyond the legal limits, and now law enforcement is involved.
By all accounts, all 27 cats are well cared for, well fed, and in good veterinary health. They just have too many and have been given 1 week to find homes for 22, or animal control will seize them. Here's Pierce County Deputy Carly Capetto.
We have essentially an illegal animal operation going on inside of a home, whether they were aware that they were doing that or not.
The deadline is this Thursday. The county is working with the family to give them time to come into compliance. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
I'll take it from a former Seahawks QB who lost a Super Bowl. Matt Hasselbeck tells KIRO News Radio's G and Ursula.
This is the Super Bowl, and you better bring it with everything you got, or you're going to go home feeling, listen, I lost Super Bowl 40 to a wild card team that people said shouldn't have been there.
And he says it does not matter. The Seahawks, for the number 1 seed in the NFC. The New England Patriots are still legit. They have a great defense and also an offense with a lot of upside, Hasselbeck says. Now to your weather update. We are seeing cloudy skies this afternoon, but staying dry, and temperatures on the